Arthur Okonkwo, in goal. What is love? Arthur Okonkwo, on loan from Arsenal.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching in the world. Sean Driver, the Red Horde, and a neutral watch party. Something that we're going to be able to do this year. The benefit of having Sky Sports pick up a bunch of TV stuff is that there are going to be games that are going to be played at other times of the week. So I think that for international fans, at least, that's a blessing. And I know there's a big debate about whether the 3 p.m. blackout is going to hurt attendance or not hurt attendance. And so that's why a lot of people don't like that. As an example, our game is going to be tomorrow with Bolton, and there were earlier games today. But we get an opportunity to see other teams that we normally wouldn't see. And see, that's where I think the advantage is because I'm going to see some players that I'm instead of just seeing them twice a year, I get to see a squad, at least two of them, a third time. So draw me into the characters and draw me into the people and the skill and all that sort of stuff. And I'm sure I'm going to want more. So that's the part I'm excited about. Whether it works out on balance, who knows? But that's maybe a debate for another day about the blackout and whether it works or not. In any event, Brendan, how are you? You've joined us. What do you think? Are you watching this one, or are you going to be following along? It's certainly not Crawley Town where we have that one feed above the top and we end up getting vertigo going back and forth. W&G, thanks for announcing. No idea how many people are going to show up for this one, but I was going to watch this anyway, so you might as well get into it. But yeah, we're at Reading. Wigan. I downloaded the Wigan one until the ownership situation figures itself out at Reading, and this isn't to be a slight to the Reading fans, but I'm not throwing my cash to Reading until that all gets figured out. Select car leasing stadium, though. Compliments so far, as far as the camera goes. And this isn't even a televised match. That's what's weird. This is your standard feed. And so there are some lessons to be learned from this one for anybody who's not watching it. Updates and things like that. I hope everybody enjoyed them. I'd love to hear everybody's feedback too regarding Ben Timberlake joining from the Fan Zone pod. Bolton had fascinating conversation. I mentioned to you immediately before how it sort of came up organically about the new player there, Sean, the midfielder, and how they got him from Hungary. And I was like, when I looked at him during the research process, I went, he's the exact type of player that he doesn't have enough points to automatically get his visa. So that's one of their 2 free hits. And they went out to Hungary and pulled this guy from their top division and brought him over. I was like, that's exactly what I think Wrexham should be doing. And he confirmed, oh yeah, our coach talks about it all the time, and they pay money towards having scouts out in Central Europe to find these guys. And I was like, oh my God, that sounds so amazing. So that was the most fascinating part for me. For you, did you have anything that you saw, Brennan, that you were like, that's intriguing, that's interesting, or any comments about that sort of caught you off? Oh, you're not. They can't hear you. So I'll jump in. What Brendan was saying, just because we're going to have 13 minutes to kick off, was talking about the expensiveness that Ben was referring to of that whole scouting regime that they were putting into Central Europe and the fees, and not certain whether, as being a League One club, whether it's a just relative to League One expense or more expensive or not. But W&G is going to give us updates, and he's going to be watching Blackpool and Stockport. That's a good one to watch. I wouldn't mind watching that. I made a mistake. I referenced them by Stockport by the start. I want to refer to them as that club from Manchester, also known as Stockport, all season long. To play-by-play go. Do you want to test, Brennan? If I don't know if you got stuff in the background that you can check where you're at, but just see if you've got the game going.
Yeah, let me see. The game has not started.
No, not the game. The gain. The mic gain for you.
Oh no, I'm back. Yeah,
Oh, you're back. Okay. New producer B learning all of the tricks of the trade.
No, I had to cough.
I
muted myself, and then I was doing other things and didn't go back. So,
all right.
I'm bringing up the League One map just so we can get an idea of where we are, because it's in Reading, the Wigan.
And so bringing up the map, and we'll have a look at that one so that we can see exactly where we are in relation to us, where Reading FC is. And I was just also going to say, I believe that there were 4:00 games, and I guess
2 games.
WG will know this.
Yeah,
if you know
and Shrewsbury Peterborough, slew of late goals. It was a fairly close game that Peterborough Shrewsbury won, and then a couple goals in the 87th, 88th minute. Made it
good stuff.
Yeah.
See, the joys of having you over on the East Coast is you get updated all on that stuff, where I'm still laying in bed regretting life and trying to pull myself out to get everything going.
Yeah.
It was a tough start this morning. So, just having a look at stuff.
I'm going to switch to the FOTMOB feed for you.
Sure. Reading is you saw it on the map down south. I haven't been down I've been down in that area as far as getting to London, which is a little bit further east, but I haven't been down in that area of England as of yet, so I can't give any commentary. Oh, the lineups. I can just go through this. They all had cup games. Obviously, they made massive changes. 9 coming in and out for Reading, and I don't know exactly how many from Wigan from Tuesday. But I went back to the previous cup match, and so you've got just really one change each. Nibs is out, and Savage is in, and
I have up on the screen the FOTMOB lineups.
Yeah, and that's for Reading, so you should be able to see that on the screen there. And I'm going to struggle with Kelvin's name, number 9, and it's interesting because that's a player who there has been talk about where Kelvin's going to be and what's going on, and apparently interest with other clubs. Haven't been following. I just continue to see that name show up on Twitter, and I'm going to struggle to pronounce that, so I'm going to wait till the announcers do it. But Kelvin being the first name, and what was also, I went and listened to about 6 interviews, and everyone just called him Kelvin. I watched 2 highlights, and they called him Kelvin. So I'm not the only one, and I don't feel as bad admitting that I don't have that yet in my repertoire. For the athletics, but instead of going with athletics, it's a latex. They've also only just made one change, and that's SZE coming out of the match in favor of Thomas, Silko Thomas, which is a wonderful name. So, and I don't know why, and if somebody can remind me, Sam Tickle, I looked him up. It's a familiar name, and I don't know why. No connection that I can see from his Wikipedia page, but for some reason I feel like we've run across Sam Tickle before. It is what it is. So just waiting for the feed to come through. If you don't have a stream up, these ones are only available on iFollow. You're not going to be able to get them anywhere else. And so if you're stuck with us and listening to us, and I anticipate there may be some Reading fans and some Wigan fans who join us today, looking to try and get some feed of an update. Wrexham fans here, as you can maybe be able to tell from the rest of the page and the stuff that's there, we've got nothing better to do leading up until our game against the Trotters, the Wanderers, the Super Whites tomorrow. So we're going to soak this one up and get to know the teams around us. Stockport fans are very loud. Marie says she can hear him. And it's nice to see you again, Marie. I think it's been a little bit of time as we flow through this one. 8 minutes until kickoff. And what do we talk about? I guess we can talk about their own FOTMob stats and see if we can get anything. And I want to load up the League One table as well, just to pull that up and see where things are at. So Charlton obviously pulled out a win, so they're sitting at the top of the table with their 1-0 win over Leighton, who's now got to be sitting bottom. Them and Shrewsbury after losses. And the Shrewsbury game, Peterborough giving it to them 4-0. Is that preview is a little bit loud and resounding in my ear, so let me get rid of the volume on that. Holy moly. I will say, as far as streaming quality goes, and I don't know if it's club dependent or I follow just 1 week to the other, whether it is like, to me, this is the best stream I've seen from iFollow as far as quality of camera, internet, getting things out there. I am impressed. And I said that about DAZN, but I expect that from DAZN. They put a crap ton of money into this. These guys have multiple camera angles. Kingsley's walking around. It's in high def.
Yeah. They had a goal cam that was pretty cool that I saw them flipping through all the different cameras earlier.
I'm envious of Reading. If this is the standard, good for them. It's certainly all there to watch and take part in. And maybe this is the advantage as you look around and you see how different clubs do their things, which we usually, like last year, the thing about the 3 p.m. blackout is you sit in your little bubble. And I don't know what your take on it, Brendan, is, but it's sort of frustrating because you want to be able to see other players, other teams, other stadiums, get to know the stories, right? Get to know the characters, get to figure all of that sort of stuff out. And I find it funny on Twitter where people are like, we're the biggest, we're the best, we're whatever. And I'm like, but you've only ever seen teams that you've played when they've played you, because I don't see anybody paying whatever it is, 200 quid times 24, 4,800 quid to watch every game, right? So you're limited to highlights and that's about it. And so nobody knows, is my club good managed? Well, you're kind of going compared to your own club's history and what you've seen around. And I'm hoping, like, that's the exciting part for me with Sky Sports covering so many different games, is we're going to be able to take in so much more different fans, not just when Wrexham is there, different production quality, not just when Wrexham is there, and really get into it. So
you did touch on it in your video, but the Wrexham effect's going to be in play tomorrow at Bolton, right? Could be a sellout.
If it is a sellout, it will be a record-breaking attendance.
Right.
No, the record-breaking attendance, and they got close to a sellout, was in 2003, and that was against Leicester City, and that was in their, I think it was either the year or of their best season ever, 6th place in the Prem. And I don't think Leicester was Leicester in the Prem that year? I think they were. But in any event, that's how crazy the Wrexham effect is. And there was another person that posted about their attendance last year, and that there were other clubs that came in that got more attendance than Wrexham. And somebody responded and said Wrexham was the largest attendance for 19 of 23 clubs in League Two last year. And so it'll be interesting to see. And that makes, I think, the thing about Wrexham is, for me, wanting to look at the attendance to find out, can you draw any patterns out of this whole blackout effect, and does it affect attendances in stadium?
When you
have to make an assumption and exclude Wrexham.
When you say Wrexham was 19th, what does that?
No, Wrexham when they went away was the largest attendance in 19 of 23 stadiums.
Oh, Okay.
So everybody came to see Wrexham except for like 4 clubs, and those were Mansfield, Stockport, and Notts. All the teams at the top essentially had
So
had
they
other
had
clubs that
bigger
they were interested
turnouts that year against another team other than Wrexham in League Two,
in.
or we
No,
didn't
what I'm
break
saying
their
is
all-time record?
no, we didn't break their season. We weren't their highest attendance that season.
That season.
So
Okay.
it's not that we broke the record. It was that for Stockport, for Mansfield, for Notts, we were not their highest attendance that season.
Which
I believe
could
there
have
was one more
easily
team.
been based on the day, in whether it was a Tuesday night or whether it was
Correct, and
holiday.
they're and they've got derbies. Like Notts has a true derby,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Mansfield, obviously, so lots of factors could have gone into it. But at the end of the day, 19 clubs, we were their largest attendance last season for any of their home games, and that was people coming out to see us. So it's that's going to be a factor going through things, and it's holding true so far this year with Stockport. They're at 25,000, so we'll see if they can get 4,500 more. The record will be broken, and they could have their first sellout. I'd be interested. Why not slide over if they were to open up another 500 seats for Wrexham? I'm sure that they'd go, but I guess it depends on how much they can cordon things off. Anyways, I'm like, this is the graphics. I'm loving the graphics as I'm following along this thing. This has been exceptionally well produced, and instead we're just firing our volunteers. That's all we do.
There's a lot of sprinklers going to the very last second out there.
That'll be a season highlight for me. Will be during the Tuesday game in Sheffield. One of the guys getting blasted with the sprinkler when it's turned on, and they were out warming up during the half. The other thing that I did, and I'm doing, and I'll just say this as they're getting everything lined up, and I'll shout out to you because the ball is on the pitch. We'll figure this out. Is it sounds really, really dry, but it's actually I'm finding it interesting to look at. Is I've been comparing the handbooks and all the changes that have been made in the rules over the last year, and so I'm interested and excited to pull all that stuff out. As there have been some changes, some of them just simple ones, and some of them a little bit more pronounced. One of them limiting the number of players that could warm up at any one time on the sideline, reduced from 7 to 5. So controlling the pitch a little bit more, but getting into some of those details. Hopefully sometime soon, but it sounds like I'm going to have to keep that thing. We're the ball is Reading's going to be playing left or right, Wigan left or right, and Reading from right to left. I'm just going to bring up I
will get rid of the Wrexham cards in a second. I'm just waiting on that start button for you.
Perfect. So yes, Wigan's going to be in the black. That's what throws me off. I just always assume they're blue and white. Reading in the blue and white. Wigan in the black. Wigan from right to left. Reading from left to right. I got that. And with a little bit of a delay here, is they're pointing at the clock and still waiting, and the referee staring at the sidelines and itching to get going. Staring at the clock again, itching to get going. Thumbs up finally, and he's going to back out of the circle. Everybody's pointing, and finally I get a broadcaster in my ear, so maybe I'll find out how to pronounce Kelvin, and away we go. We've started. Oh, and it sounds like they've got the young guy who's just filling in here for doing the broadcasting. It almost sounds like a Friday Night Lights sort of circumstance. If you're from the U.S., a high school football broadcaster taking over. I shouldn't be so negative right to start. We'll see how this young man does. So now what I need to do, I'm going to bring up the actual thought mob so I can follow along rather than pulling the numbers off of here, because as clear as it is, those red on white, a little bit hard to control. As Wigan pushed down just a battle in the midfield, and everything scrambled so far, but nice little interplay in. Oh, just 1 second. Surprise right off the top is now I've got two monsters sitting. Oh, you got to feel for the little man when he wakes up and all he wants to do is hang out with Dada. And I'm like, no, I've got stuff that I've got to do. And he got taken out, and so he'll settle down a little bit once you dump some cereal into him. But a little bit of an expected but unanticipated surprise first time this year. It's going to be a different year as far as that one goes, because he at 2.5 is a lot more involved, I should say, with things. Is here we go, Pereira with it at the back line. Nothing happening so much as from what I've been able to see. Mostly battle in the midfield with just some searching balls, but nothing really effectively taken over, and it gets kicked out, and it's going to be a Reading ball going the other way. And they don't say that. They say it's going to stay with Wigan. Wigan with control brings it all the way back to Aimson, rolling it around in the back line and just trying. And that was a little bit of a lazy ball there. Sessignon. It's Wigan scrambling. Press is high from Reading, and they're pushing it all the way forward and looking for a corner. And are they going to get it? No, just a goal kick. But of the two teams, definitely a higher press happening from Wigan at the moment. Long thump all the way down. This is just nothing pretty out of this one so far. Long thump down the entire pitch, goes out, and we're going to get a cold kick the other way. Is 3 minutes, 45 seconds in, and both teams struggling to get any semblance of control in this one, as it's just a midfield battle at best, and a couple of long hoof balls down searching on either side. Reading with it, ran it all the way to the midfield and then just turned it over. And now we're going to flip the other way and see if Rankin into the 18-yard box, searching. He's there for our first little foray of an attack, not cleared, given away by Reading. One back, and they're going to draw it all the way back to the midfield stripe to try and set this thing up. Kerr has it down the right. Adiko turned over again, possibly turned over again, and it's Reading who now on the rush in the counterattack going the other way. Mansfield up 1-0. How are you? Pundit, I thought you were doing a game today. I thought you were doing a Premier League game. Nice to see you here. Yeah, that's the hard part, I guess, for you guys, is it's going to be different, because unless you're paying the 10 quid, not going to be able to pick this one up, but always worth having and having a sniff, I suppose. At least one of us will get an idea as to what the heck is going on from the teams that are around us. All the way down to Wigan on the press, Reading with the press. Elliott gets it across, gets it over 18-yard box, looking to draw it in. Right-footed, big save, Tickle. Woo, that was a bullet. 18-yard box, just on the inside. Left, right footer from, is that Mbeke who was up there? He's already scored, and no, I've got the wrong name for... Anyway, right footer from just to the left side of the box, who got around his defender and fired off a bullet right down the middle of the pipe, though, and the goalkeeper didn't have to move, just had to put the hands up and knock that one away. Long throw in, similar and akin to Tozer, easily headed away. Asgard pushes it down, and Thomas knocks it down further for Reading control. And Benge. Not Mbenge. Why are the numbers so far off? 29 is Wing. Sorry, there we go. 29, not 27. And here we go again. It's more possession from Reading. Is now for the first time a team starting to assert some dominance here. Oh, that's in. Beautiful. Ho, 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 ho. Reading scoring on a three beautiful touches into the 18-yard box. It came in from the right wing down, and I'm looking for number 5 to try and figure out who ended up potting that one in. And of course, I can't find the numbers, which means it must not be 5. Is that Savage? It's 8. Savage. So that came down to the far post. A nice little touch and through the floor, crossed it from the goal line right to Savage. And that was Mbenge all the way down over to Kelvin. Kelvin with a right footer through the legs of a defender right into the middle of the box. And that's where Savage is, and he puts it into the right corner. Nothing that the keeper could do in that one. Looking for a lot better from the defender, as you don't expect to get nutmegged or 5-holed by the defender, by Kelvin. Gorgeous. And Reading goes up 1-0. Charlie Savage. Another name that I know because obviously the Welsh national team for him, and he's been with Reading. This is his second season after moving up from Forest Green Rovers. 2 games, but I thought he'd had more than that because a lot of people were talking about him drawing into the lineup in Wales last year, I believe. Go to his international play here. October 2023, got his first call, and that was that Gibraltar game. And then he played in the qualifier against Croatia. 21 years of age, the young Welshman expected to contribute to the club long term. And let's be honest, good goal scorers go to the right places. Because that wasn't exceptional in the sense that he did something magical with the ball, but it was exceptional in the fact that he found open space within the 18-yard box and was able to right in the middle. So when he received that pass from Kelvin, and it was a beauty, it was easy to deal with. And here comes Reading again. Kelvin flipped over the top. I'm starting to see the quality here from Reading develop with Kelvin. Every touch that he has, that nice little right footer over the top there. On the goal, it was the chest down and then through the legs of the defender. And I thought he lost control, but able to get it back, and then tries to get it right in front. The exact same type of play that scored the previous one, the cutback pass. But just didn't get that one through, as he is just too much to handle. Too much to handle down that left side. The replays are brutal. If you're not watching, as amazing as the feed is and all of the camera angles, their replay work leaves a little bit to be desired, and we're going to have a corner here. The man taking it. You can't tell because a number of the shots there is well punched away by Tickle, the keeper, and it comes out back out. And there's Savage, left footer, just blocked away, and it's going to be another corner from the other side. And Savage is going to take that one. I'm trying to find out who took the previous one. Maybe Wing. I was thinking it was 24, but 29 makes sense. Oh, Blendon. It could have been Bindon as well. Wing, right-footed outswinger from the right-hand side, lining it up, waiting for it, and the referee blows it down and wants some discussion. Ebitiomen. There it is. Ebitiomen. There comes the kick. Oh, it's beauty. Oh, great save by Tate. Goal! Clear from the line. Oh, it's madness still in the 18-yard box. Up and over. And then smashed in. This is just swarming. I have not seen any team in football in the first 10 minutes have this much control and just overwhelming a club. This is, the header in from Bindon, great save, comes down, Dorsett has a crack at it, it's cleared from the line, it's then flicked on back and smashed forward again and pays Sam Tickle his salary because he's earned it just on that one. Holy Moses. Should be 2-0. It's not. Yeah, Wigan forgot to invest in any defense. That's absolutely true. And that was Mbenge making the mistake for Reading and just throwing that out. And so Wigan gets automatic control. The Latics looking to settle this thing down. It's one of those away days where you just want to get control, make it a little bit ugly, kick it around, and just keep the ball away from Reading, who's at home, comfortable as all hell, and coming downhill at you as the press is full on, and they've turned it over there. Craig just forced the whiff by Thomas, and here comes Reading again. 35 yards out. I got to bring the chat up. I've been so excited calling the game. I've hidden the chat. Mansfield 1-1 with Burton. Something today, current watching the horn. I love having you here, Josh, and appreciate it. Reading just still again left-hand side, and of course they go to Ebitiomen, who be able to get to crack off, and it goes to the left-hand side. This is all downhill, all one way. This is the senior varsity team taking on the junior varsity team and sending in messages. He might have been EV. I remember Charlie Savage potentially being linked, and there were people who were not convinced that he was a player as much as it was just because of his Welsh nature. But I mean, the kid's 21 years of age. Did my video go down there for a bit, Brendan? Yeah, that's fine. Okay, we'll keep an eye on that, as we had that problem in the first game of the season where I was flickering in and out, and Brendan had to draw himself in as the plays slowed down here, as we've had boot issues and somebody with a knee down. We're going to get back underway here through Pereira, the Reading goalkeeper, who I've only ever said his name once so far this game, and that's because he caught a ball. Excellent, good to know as we're moving forward here. Pereira down the right-hand side, and Mbenge, long searching ball. Oh, nice little touch by Reading. Holy, like these guys just suck every ball up off of their feet. I don't know if this is quality to expect, and they're going to get another corner from the left-hand side. Like that touch was nuts. Long ball, flat ball, hard ball down the right-hand side, and it was a 1-foot touch, brought it down, and then flicked over to another player. They're talking about getting overrun in the midfield, and it's certainly happening. The announcers are in any event. 29 Wing going to give the right-footed in-swinger from the left side, flat, close, forwarded, advanced towards the ball, bouncing around in the 6-yard box, cleared, but then pushed back in. It's going to go over to the 18-yard box, and here's Charlie Savage, left-footed. I think he hit the ground and sloughed that one, but it's headed back into the middle. And finally, Tickle comes out and collects it, not so convincingly as I thought he was going to stay back for a while. Well, that was like a high pop fly. And no, he didn't get under that one until late. Another thing, if you haven't seen it, I'm proud of this one. I got my shirt out of the store. And so that's the first design, which the quality of the shirt was that's a little bit more expensive than the cheapest one. So it's super nice, but I do have to work on. The logo got a little bit lightened here, so I'm going to work on that one. But no complaints about McLean running down the wing on that one. If anybody's looking at the store as an option, I also saw the mugs have been purchased and received, and they are sexy. I'm going to have to find a way to put that one. Oh, long ball forward, and Pereira has to come all the way out, as that was advanced and sent Hugill all the way out for Wigan to be able to collect that. Just the level of control, even on Wigan now, bringing a little bit of a press, and Mbenge just turning that one around and getting it to Pereira. Haven't seen a mistake from the Royals, really. And we are 16 minutes and 7 seconds through the match. And just more control. 72% possession if you're following on FOTMOP. Shots are 3-1 or 3-0, sorry, and one big chance. Building from the back down to the left-hand side. Dorset gets it around and he misses his pass, and so Wigan's going to get control, and here comes Reading forward on their press. We'll see how long this lasts. I'm going to try and keep an eye on it because it's been really noticeable anyway from the 5-minute mark, because the first 5 minutes was a bit scrambly through the midfield. But Wigan able to beat that press and advance it forward and up over the top. Ranking going to go try and chase it down, and Mbenge, he has been everywhere. He's playing on the right side of the right center back in a 4-3-3, and he has been absolutely everywhere in control in the back. Despite the goal being there and all the work that Ebby Tioman's doing and Savage with the goal, he's probably been the most noticeable player on the pitch for me. Thomas, all the way down left-hand side, 18-yard box, looking to try and get across in. It finds Asgard, and it's Asgard and Thomas working on the left-hand side. Asgard, now to Thomas. Right-footed cross into the box. Oh, and missed awkwardly by everybody. Rankin maybe had an opportunity, but he moved himself too far to the right. Instead, it's just going to roll out. And Pereira's going to grab that for a goal kick. You'll have to let me know, for those of you who are not watching along, whether it's you're getting a good idea as to how this one's going, as I'm going almost full radio, I think, to most people. Underway, long hoof ball down the left side, leaving it there for Smith, whose name I have not called as of yet. Looking to get a touch to it and doesn't, and it gets cleared out. Reading gains control at the midfield. Ooh, and Elliott just steps on the ball and falls and gives it away. Right foot right on the top of the ball, and then face plant. Splat. Wigan just thanks you very much, and instead they've controlled it through Asgard and going to draw it all the way back and set it up through the midfield. Sessignon moved over from the right side. They play a 4-2-3-1, and Sessignon is in the back four, but it's interesting when they've only got the two in the back. They move up both Chambers and Sessignon from their left and right side closer towards the midfield and advancing forward, and they've pushed the ball all the way over to the right-hand side in an 18-yard box, and they takes a sharp angle shot, sliced it to the goalkeeper, and I don't know if that was intentional or not, because it just ended up in the side netting. Perfect. I will take that. And the broadcasters are saying the same thing from Adiko's shot or pass, or what that was, is whether that was just a mishit hard entry into the box or an attempt to try to beat the goalkeeper and keep him under surprise, but it was too far out. It's like one of those hockey plays where you're busting down the wing and you sneak one in short side, but the whole idea of it is you're in close enough proximity to actually have a chance of the puck beating the goaltender and surprising him. Hard to do when you're 15, 20 yards away. Oh, that's a card. Has to be a card. You got him up high into the legs there. The challenge, no, they're just giving the foul. Just the free kick to Craig. I just don't like the height of where he made contact. He got him up almost towards the knees and it ended up flipping him up over top. A nice pass through the entire midfield, and it's going to be Thomas and Asgard working on the left-hand side. Asgard drawing it all the way back. Wigan now with a little bit more control and searching, as thanks W&G for the score. Barnsley goes up 1-0 on Lincoln. Interesting having a look at the table so far. I mean, it's early days. We're only 20 minutes in. You expect the goals to be a little bit light. But as it sits right now, there's only two teams that have gotten to 6 points. And then it's the mad scramble. There's now 4 teams who currently sit as it would finish as being pointless. Leyton Orient and Shrewsbury guaranteed to be 2. We'll see Northampton off to a bad start, and obviously Wigan here. So the lay of the land starting to clarify as Wigan pushes itself forward. 18-yard box, left-hand side, as that's where all of the play has developed so far. Entered in, and not quite cleared. Bad clearance, and Wigan able to get control. Had an opportunity there, so you hope that one doesn't. If you're a Reading fan, doesn't come back to bite you, as that was an opportunity to get a clearance, and it's still more possession as it goes to Adiko over on the right-hand side. Cross into the box, and we got an offside whistle. Adiko too far forward. Him struggling. Adiko offside. Adiko with the crazy entry pass slice shot that I haven't seen in a football match that I've watched in my career, trying to sneak one if it was intentional. But if you are Wigan, you're happy that there's some control here. There's the possession now at 60-40, starting to settle into it, as they maybe just got off the bus early or bus late and forgot that they had a match. Pereira, Select Car Leasing, not only the stadium advertiser, but also front of kit for the Royals. And there's a header that ended up clipping a Wigan player, and it's going to end up being Wigan with the free kick. And some pushing and shoving over the ball between Thomas and, was that Craig or Mbe? Craig. Chambers with it, draws it back. Ameson, we're looking at Wigan looking to move the ball forward here with Smith. Midfield stripe all the way over, and it's going to be Thomas again. It's Thomas, the name I've said the whole time on their wing for Wigan. Rankin, 18-yard box. He's inside of it. Turns around, nobody there. 3 defenders come and close on him pretty easy, and he's got to draw it all the way back to Sessegnon. Ameson, 35 yards out. Ranking now, all the way over to right-hand side, 18-yard box. One man to beat, and he's dancing around him towards the goal line. Right footer, no, draws it back. He's on Dorset, and Dorset and Ranking having the battle there, and so far that was well defended by Dorset, and so it's going to be a switch over all the way over to the other side. No, it's not. They're going to decide to push back and try this right side one more time with Ranking, but he's got men with him in support. 3 players around, and he draws it back to Sessegnon. If you're Wigan, you're taking this with how much pressure Wigan was given to you. This is the best answer: is just keep the ball at feet and move yourself forward. This is Thomas on the left. And he's forced all the way back. The Royals' shape, I'll tell you, impressive. In defense, that's a hard nut to crack. There's been no threat from Wigan, as it's all been on the wings, and they're over on the left-hand side trying again, and just controlled and easily controlled by Mbengue. Foul, free kick, foul. So Reading ball 30 yards away, 25 yards away from their goal, looking to try and thump this one downfield and find some pressure. And instead, they're just going to do the switch, Craig is, and get it over to the other defender, blind and on the left-hand side. So Reading on the press has looked effective. Reading up front has looked effective. Reading in defensively has kept their shape and kept Wigan out on the wings. If you're Wigan, you're happy that you've got some control back in this game, because it felt like they were just getting smacked and embarrassed for the first 18 minutes of the match. Kamara, that's a new name that I haven't said as of yet. He's playing on the right-hand side of that 4-3-3 up front. He had a touch and just drew it back, and there's a free kick, and it's taken quickly, and here comes Reading downhill. Nice little pass into the box. Offside. I don't think that was right, though. And the officials getting the finger wag. I think that he just had pace on the left-hand side, and when he got around, that was Smith. When he got around his man, he was so far towards the goal line that the referee just assumed it had to be an offside. But that was he caught the defender off, and I don't think that was offside at all. Wigan, though, gets the opportunity to move forward, and there's a push into the back. And here comes Wigan drawing it back, and they'll build up. 26 minutes and 4 seconds in this one. Fortunate for Wigan to be just 1-0, as it's been an impressive display Reading so far. And I had Reading being an improved team, and I for no other reason that, I mean, they've been going through their own garbage, right, with their ownership struggles and all that sort of stuff. And despite everything that's going on off the pitch, the team looks solid as hell, at least at the moment. I don't believe they did any transfers. Producers beads in my ear, and that's Smith moving it all the way over. Kelvin with it. Ebitioman, he loves that run down to the goal line and the cutback because he does it again, but now he's just drawn it back, and whoo, there's the first time that was Sessegnon winning that battle, and he's able to clear forward. And do we get a counterattack going? It's slowed down a little bit, punching it over to the left on a bad pass, settled down and a loop over top. Is Pereira coming out? He's not, so there's going to be a free hit here. Interesting decision by Pereira on that one. I think he had lots of time to go out and collect it. Instead, he retreated. And by doing so, that left it for Hugel to run up and get a free open chance. Hugel right there. I think he underestimated the pace at which the ball was coming forward. And so Hugel takes a left footer from outside the left post, and Pereira drops to his knees and stops that one from going by. Need to look up the height of Kelvin Ebitioman as he goes up and towers over top of the defender Kerr there to collect that one, but then loses control afterwards, and now it's Wigan with a free kick going the other way. The broadcasters, who are Wigan broadcasters, saying that Maloney's club is building into this one, and I believe that to a certain extent that's true, but it's just been pressure so far. As that's a good challenge. Yep, I'll take that one. That was Thomas clearing that one out, and it's going to be a throw-in for the Royals. I haven't looked at my chat enough, and that's on me because I'm scrambling trying to make sure I get all the players' names right. Yeah, Logan, I've always thought that fascinating too, but I guess the take is the 3 p.m. is more significant. The 3 p.m. blackout's more significant for the lower level clubs, because if for those teams who support those players, they're more likely to not go to the stadium. I guess that's maybe you don't get the entertainment level that you would at the Prem level. I don't know the thoughts about that, but it's something that I do want to track this year is the attendance. Logan Leroy, thanks for joining in. Here comes Reading again, all the way over, right-hand side. Kamara draws it back. Wing and Kamara playing a little bit of catch, advance it forward, lose control, but Kamara gains it, 18-yard box right in front of it, tries to pass through, but it gets knocked down, and so Reading's going to have to settle it down 35 yards out, and that's through Savage over to Kamara on the right-hand side again. Sorry, check that, not Kamara. That's Mbenge who's come up. Savage tried it back to Mbenge. See, Mbenge, his touch, I'm sorry. I mean, a bad pass there that ends up being rescued, but Jesus, and then danced around another guy and into the middle of the box. Right there, 18-yarder, right-footed, blocked, and it's up in the air, headed back towards things, up in the air again. Mad scramble. It's down, and it's going to go the other way. Did they call a handball there on Savage or a foul? That whole play from Mbenge with just a simple touch to gain control, dashes the right foot out, puts his foot on the top of the ball, draws it back to himself, spins around and passes it over and maintains possession when just was not anticipated. I mean, the pass down to the right side to Elliott was not the cleanest that followed, but Elliott then gains control, dances a man, they get into a box, and then it's for maybe the fourth or fifth time, it's just mad scramble in the middle of the box, hoping that it lands on a Reading forward and gets pushed forward as we're on a water break. Holy moly, it's... I haven't seen this. You watch a lot of hockey, or at least I do, obviously, being a Canadian. And you see those teams that there's two different styles of play. And while Brendan's not able to listen, I'll use Boston as an example. Boston scores a lot of what you call ugly goals. The St. Louis Blues, the Minnesota Wild, ugly goals. And it's still an art form, but it's where you get the ball close to goal and you find deflections, you find tips, you bang in garbage from the rebounds. You're looking for opportunities and just it's part of the strategy of the game. You compare that to teams like the Edmonton Oilers or the Washington Capitals or the Pittsburgh Penguins or even my Vancouver Canucks, who like to score from shots in the slot area and work towards the outside. Reading appears to me to be very much, and more probably than any other football team I've seen in the last 3 years anyway, from watching every day, a lot more focused on getting the ball into the box, into the 18-yard box, and just looking for the scrambles and looking for a play, looking for a foot on the ball. And it's been fascinating to watch. Huddersfield up 1-0 now on Stevenage. Wycombe takes a lead. Draws even with Birmingham. That is going to be a fascinating one to keep an eye on. And yeah, that going back to that attendance thing, if you look at the early returns, and the season opener is a hard one to judge, is it certainly didn't affect things in the opener for those teams that were outside the 3 p.m. window. But I take it as a lot of people highlighted, it's also the season opener. And Bengay just got submarined. And Bengay jumps up to go and get the header, and that's one of those ones that could have been a yellow card as he's grabbing his left glute. He jumps up in the air to go and get the header, and he just gets his legs taken out while he's in the air, and he comes down relatively hard and lands on his backside. And I don't think that this is manufactured. I think that the announcers certainly from Wigan disagreeing and thinking that he's faking that one. But here comes Reading again. Savage with it, 25 yards out, gets it over to the left-hand side to Dawson. Dawson, Etibiomen. Oh, nice great little pass to the far post. Serves it up beautifully for Smith, and Smith gets his right foot on it, but clears it up over top. My word, Kelvin Etibiomen is worth the price of admission. And do you expect Smith to get that one in from where it was at? He's 4 yards away. I mean, maybe a little bit too close, and the keeper was able to get there. That he closed that one off pretty significantly. I don't know even if it was on net whether it would have gone in, which is why I think he was trying to beat the goalkeeper up top. But I am. Who have I seen that's impressed me this much in any match that I've seen? I'd hate to say maybe Louis Barry when he was with Stockport last year, as far as his quality and being able to run at us, but that was more panic-inducing and at the foot. Yeah, no, I think that was a mistake by Smith. I think he had options, as I see that on the replay. I mean, the big thing is just get it on goal. That one went way too far, way too up and too high in the air. And I thought when I saw it, maybe it was because he didn't have an opportunity anywhere. But you got to put it on goal, at least keep it in for a rebound if you've got that opportunity. Another loose pass, and it's turned over, and Reading right in front of the box. Is he going to take the shot? He does, deflect it, and it's going to go out for a corner as it was. Oh, they're not saying deflected? That was Kamara just hooked it. They're saying he just hooked it. Had an opportunity, 18-yard. Like, this could easily be 4-0. Easily be 4-0. I'm curious what FOTMOB says on the expected goals. 55-45. Oh, they only have the expected goals at 0.88. The total shots are 9-1. Interesting. And they say only one big chance. Maybe I'm just overselling the quality of the chances because FOTMOB, whoever's in control, doesn't have it. As Wigan gets an opportunity to down the right-hand side, cross into the box, and Pereira just comes out and easily collects that. The dive in, and he's going to look to move it. As far as strategy goes and style of play, Wigan a lot more akin to Wrexham, maybe so far a little bit less effective, but they're trying to build nonstop from Thomas and Asgard on the left, Ranking on and Adiko over on the right. And then with the crosses that are coming into the box. And so far, Reading's had no issue with managing that as a style. Now, whether that's because of quality of player or whether it's because they're just really adept at it, yet to be determined. We'll figure that out as the season unfolds. Reading getting the jersey pull, and eventually that becomes too much for the official to undertake, and Thomas gets whistled down, and it's going to be a free kick at the midfield stripe for the Reading Royals. Something I don't normally do, and I guess with Wrexham not playing, I'm a little bit more comfortable doing it, is watching the table as the game happens. Is well kept, and that was Craig. Keeps it in, draws a foul, and on his side of the half, it's more Reading, more downhill all the time. 37 minutes, 30 seconds. And if you're able to make it into the half, if you're the Latics on this one, just down 1-0 in a game where you've had one shot and your expected goals is sitting at 0.02. 0.02. Turnover there was taken out of play, and that's going to be the Latics with it. Elliott drew that one out for Reading, and it's drawn back. Possession sitting at 53-47. I was surprised by that, but two different types. And here's Pereira all the way down to go and collect this one. Pereira, restart, right footer, hoofed all the way down the pitch, headed down, and guess who's there to collect it? Reading, but a bad touch turns it over, and it goes to the Latics, and they'll set it up over on the left-hand side. Long searching ball by Tickle. You know what? I know where we saw Wigan because we had them in a cup match, didn't we, last year or 2 years ago? That's where it was, is because I remember him actually looking quite good and recall him. And I don't recall any of the other Wigan players really by name anyway, other than Sam Tickle, which is probably an identification of the quality of the game that Wigan had against us. I will remember some of these Reading names as... Guess who? Ebitioman just has the ball, find him on his feet. And he battles through one guy, battles through another. Come on. I mean, he gets hauled down. That's a yellow card. Just too much. Kelvin Ebitioman, too much. His speed gets him past one guy, gets to the second guy, gets a foot in front of him, and so they just give him a shove. And you're going to end up just outside the box. Like, we're talking a foot and a half, 2 feet. But... And I've never seen a free kick taken from this position. It's literally 9 yards away. Like, if you've got the 18-yard box, it's right in the middle of that box and just 18 feet on the other side. So there is a two-man wall. I can't expect from that sharp angle that somebody that would ever have a crack right at goal. But this is just going to be a mad touch scramble. And Ebitioman trying to pull somebody out. He's just lined up at a slightly better angle. There it is. Oh, he does have a crack from the sharp angle, and instead it's going to be a corner. I'm surprised at the two-man wall that somebody had an attempt, because you're too close to be able to curl that one in. But hey, he thought he could do the physics, could wing, and instead he'll take a right-footed in-swinger, and here it comes, up into the box, headed on, and collected by Tickle. I think that's the first touch that Ebbe Thielman had a touch of the ball and maybe lost a little bit of control with it, pushed it too far away from him, and it was nicked by a Wigan player. He is human, is what he just proved at the 41-minute mark. Bengue gets it forward, left-hand side, spin on the ball, nice little touch through, but too heavy, and it's going to end up landing to the Latics, and they're going to turn it over, and it's going to go the other way as Elliott draws back and collects it, and now he's got it on the right-hand side. He's pulling it back to Mbengue, and Reading settles it down, long push down the right-hand side. And then halftime, we're going to be able to talk about this and maybe some more as here comes Reading again. Ebbe Thielman, left-hand side, dances around, right-footed. Oof, well struck, and Sam is fuming. Tickle turns around, screaming and yelling as that one had the top right-hand corner targeted and didn't miss by much. Who was this? Sessegnon just not able to handle him at all. Left both feet and came in for a two-footed, I don't know what that was, block attempt, I guess. And Ebbe Thielman has the wisdom to just push it around the block, and Sessegnon can't react, and he gets a free right-footed crack at net, and it didn't miss by much. "42 minutes, 40 seconds. I am excited for tomorrow. The McLean stuff, and I don't know if there's another area of town. I mean, he gets a lot of stiff from around the league, around England. For the Bolton fans, the Bolton area, it sounds like it's more assertive than most. I think he's going to get a lot of stick. I really hope they put him up as a forward. And here comes the Latics on a run, and Dorset with the beauty recovery as he got beat there. And I believe that was Rankin who had him beat, number 7 it was. And then just Dorset comes back, gives him a shoulder charge, takes the ball away, and away it comes. Thomas tried to save. It couldn't, and it's gone out of bounds, and Reading goes the other way. So talking about that McLean and Bolton situation, McLean not only for the standard Northern Irish stuff and his issue with the King and the Poppy, his take on the Poppy, getting the regular stuff, but he also played for Bolton's rivalry, Wigan, for a period of time, and happened to perform quite well in those games against Bolton. So they have some problems with him. And then he got into it with the coach, and even when he was at Wrexham, had some comments about Bolton. And so he was going to be well received, and I'm hoping that we see him in the center forward position, because there is not going to be a man on the pitch who's going to try harder to score. As Ebbe Thielman again steals the ball, touches a little bit too far forward and gives it away, and it's going to be Wigan gaining control. So we'll probably have to talk about that, because that's what I'm interested in seeing, in addition to just two good clubs. I'm going to end up slugging it out. And I want to see this Schoen guy, just because of the sports person visa, the type of player. Even if we were to take a flyer on somebody, grab somebody and bring them in. It's a free hit. It's a free hit. It's not the Wrexham way. Or no, I shouldn't say that. Not the Parky way. Right side, Adiko's. What are we going to get for added time here? Won't be much, I don't imagine. 2 minutes, maybe 3. 2 minutes. If you're Reading, you're walking out of this half very happy with your performance. I don't think that there's a lot of complaints defensively. The shape was solid. Offensively, too much to handle. Just maybe look at the scoreboard and think that you can get some more, but you've got to be happy thinking there's goals in this. Interesting. The take of the free kick was too far. They looked like they were going to play it on the right hand side. Then he played it to a teammate who stopped it with his hand, and then played it again. And the referee said, "No, go and play it back where you should have played it." If he felt that way, I think he should have called the handball and turned it over, because they played it from from further back, and said that was you took a shot at advancing the ball. You put it into play, and then that's a handball, but. Maybe I'm just too pedantic. Quick question to my Canadian brother. Jacques Rogue, the Mountie, or Brett the Hitman Hart. It's Brett the Hitman Hart. Always is. I was actually there in Saskatoon when he won his first ever WWF at the time heavyweight championship. I remember being a kid and the card changed so much that I was really upset because it was set up to be all big guys fighting big guys, and then they changed it to have a whole bunch of like undercards, and I was like, why is this all changed? But at the end of the day, all of a sudden they announced it was going to be a heavyweight. A fight for the heavyweight title. I can't remember who he bought, but I would have been like, God, 12? Anyway, Mansfield 2-1 up on Burton, which Mansfield maybe fortunate from the opposite of us, of a bit of a lighter start to the season, but certainly taking advantage of it. And good for them. Huddersfield still up on Stevenage. There's the whistle for the half. 1-0 Reading at the half. And then just briefly as Brennan gets in here, that was that if you are the Latics, you are celebrating that you're into the half at a 1-0 score, because not a lot of magic going on for the Latics in that one. I don't know if you've got the FOTMOB stats there, Brendan, and I want to bring them up. They don't look as atrocious, actually, as it seemed to me watching this one. But if you do you have them up there, Brendan?
Yeah, I'll go to the Reading game.
So they'll be coming up in due course if they're not there. 52%, 48% the possession, which I don't like the expected goals stats. In a lot of circumstances, but here I think it's prudent just to look at what 48% possession got you as far as expected goals. 0.02. There's just nothing threatening. When they had the ball, it was in the midfield or down the wing, and it never touched a dangerous spot on the field. Just one shot, and it happened to hit the target. For Reading, 12 total shots, but only 3 on target, 2 big chances and 1 missed. And I'm assuming just based on where that happened, is that was the Smith opportunity down the right-hand side with Ebby Tioman leading the ball up over onto his foot, and he skied it forward. The expected goals, I'm surprised that it's as low as it is. 1.12. I would have said at least 2. I mean, I think it could be 4-0. But 2 certainly I think they should have had. Lots of scrambles in the box, a little bit unlucky that it hasn't landed on their feet as much as they would have liked. The goal that they did score, beautiful little play by Ebby Tioman down the left side, who nutmegged the defender. Sessegnon just hasn't had an answer for him. And it'll be interesting to see when we play Wigan, and it's not until December, if I remember correctly. And I want to say the 29th off the top of my head, but let's see if my memory is that good with the schedule or not. It could be. I think it is the 29th. I don't think it's Boxing Day. Anyways, so lots of time to pass until we get to that point to see who's going to be on our right side, whether that's going to be Scar, EOC, or Max. As the season sort of develops, but whoever it is, they're gonna have to bring their shoes and be ready in their boots and be ready to come to work. Brendan, you were watching this one, did you? I thought you may or may not have picked that up, but you picked this up, correct?
Yeah, I've been watching it. Yeah.
And so you tell me, did I have that right as far as overwhelming nature? And what's your thoughts on Ebby Tioman or others?
Yeah, I don't understand how he doesn't look incredibly fast, and he's not doing what I'd consider tricky moves, but he's getting by and getting everything he wants on that side, being able to cross it in and bring the ball deep and get the defense to react. He's like hypnotizing the guy. I don't know how he's getting it done, but he is. And when I look at these FOTMOB stats, I've never seen anything this dominant before. It's all Reading except for the defensive stats, because they're going to have the numbers because they were basically on defense the whole time. But other than that, it's all Reading, which, I didn't get to see any of the Reading-Birmingham game. And, of course, everyone tabbed Birmingham to be, number one and going to, walk the league. And when Reading went there, first game and beat, Birmingham had to come back to tie the game up and draw that. I was wondering, okay, is this Birmingham hasn't clicked yet, or is Reading really good? Like, I thought they did very little business, if any. I think maybe goalkeepers or something, but I thought they didn't bring anyone in because of everything going on. If that's a team that I had it right. So it was one of those teams where some people were putting them way low, and some are like, no, they were on fire last year, even though the team, outside off the pitch was in disarray. They kept the same guys. They're going to be solid. They're going to be on a roll. So I didn't know what to expect, but they look legit. They look really good. And then I was like, okay, now I got to go check out the Birmingham score, and they're 1-1 with Wycombe, which is like making me think, okay, well, that makes me feel good. That means, Wrexham has a chance. They're not going to get blown off the pitch necessarily, right? So
yeah, no, and part of that is Birmingham. When you make as many changes as you do, it's going to take some time to figure out where players are going to fit and all that sort of stuff. So playing Birmingham first 3-4 games of the year is probably expected to be different than playing Birmingham in February, March, and April when they've had all that time to gel. But I'm with you as far as piss the league sort of conversation. As I don't, Birmingham's it's still a competitive league. And it's going and top to bottom. There are certainly weaker squads within that'll get filtered out, I think, over the course of the season. You are right. The only moves that were made by Reading are 2 loan outs so far, and Dai Young and the ownership group. They I don't think they have any desire to put money into the club. That's a long storied discussion. I'm just trying to find the last season for Reading and how they performed. They finished 17th, so they were near the bottom and in that threatening position of falling out. You look at where they started their season last year; they went from games 1 through 21 of the season, and they had 5 wins. And they had a 5-game losing streak followed by 2 wins in 6 games.
Yeah, so how were they at the end?
4 losses.
How did they finish the last 5?
At the end, it's a rainbow. Starting for the last, let's call it 10 games, 12 games of the year, it's a rainbow of wins, losses, and draws, pretty much an equal measure. If I count them out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wins, 3 draws, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 losses. So pretty, little bit over 500, I guess you would call it, which is definitely an improvement over where they were at the start of the year. I wouldn't say that's a mass build like you see with Charlton. Like Charlton, that's the team I really want to figure out who they are, because last year Charlton had a bad year, and they had 2 completely distinctive years. They had a horrible first half where they couldn't win anything, and then they ran that thing out with nothing but wins at the end of the year. That header goal that should have been in, cleared off the line. That was a big chance it should have gone in. I'm just watching the replay here. Cleared off the line, header that was saved. He had an opportunity, that thumping ball that was right to the middle of the pitch that was cleared. You had the opportunity that Ebi Tioman with the loop over top that was then subsequently cleared all the way up over top. It very easily could be 4-0 in this one. But yeah, I'm curious about what we have in Charlton as well, and whether lots of people have them predicted to be top of the table just because when the manager came in, all of a sudden they went on fire. So
yeah, well, you when you read that off, I remember we were talking about, when you want to do quick math to figure out if you can make playoffs or advance in the league, you look for somewhere around at least half your games wins, and then you draw the other half, and then half the quarter losses, a quarter draws, and then half wins. That gets you right in the game, right? And you're saying that's what they were doing with all that turmoil. That's pretty good. But I agree with you. Charlton is a concern as well. These were all the teams that I've heard pundits, throwing around. Like there's all the teams that came down from the championship that are in the mix and Bolton. But then it was Is it Lincoln? Is it Charlton? Is it Wycombe? Not Wycombe. Is it Wigan? All these other teams kind of in the mix here. And Reading obviously looks like it's smart to be in the mix.
It's maybe starting to take shape. I mean, Northern Border makes the comment here that Mansfield's surprising so far. And I think yet to be determined. The jury's still out for me. And I say that only because Burton is expected to be one of the teams that's looking towards relegation, and that's who they had for the first one. But they did take out Barnsley. And so Barnsley being a team, conversely, that's expected to be one of those teams looking for a playoffs position. So yet to be, the jury's still out certainly for that one. Jury's going to be out, I guess, for all these teams. We're only 1.5 games into the season, but definitely a good start for them. You take the opportunity is where they're sitting right now, is they're sitting with 6 points if they're able to hold on in their match today against Burton Albion. And they did play relatively well against Bolton, who still seems like I look at them, and if this might be the best time to play them. They look like a team that's got so much talent, but just hasn't been able to find it. And maybe that's the thing for Reading that early on in the season they can take advantage of, is not a lot of new players. Things are consistent. Everybody knows everybody. You get what you get, and they're familiar. And so they have an opportunity to come out and maybe steal a couple and look really good. We'll see what they look like as the season goes on, because right now, my God, that was impressive. As far as that was probably one of the more impressive halves I've seen from any football team playing in the EFL, as far as controlling things.
They did really good on the press. I was surprised they had kind of no sense of urgency for Wigan. They had the utmost confidence that they could just slowly and casually bring it out with Reading pressing. And time after time, they coughed up the ball without being able to get it out. And I was thinking to myself, what are you doing? And then the only times they didn't cough it up is when they'd hoof it all the way down, and that was pretty much a giveaway, right? Only once they linked up with a guy. So I would think they really need to switch their formation up and switch their tactics up, because they're not walking it out of there. They at least not with the level of intensity that they're showing, because that press, Reading was all over them. It felt like the ball was in the other half the whole time. So,
well, and the other thing is even when they've drawn it back in and gotten something akin to an attacking moment, and Dorset on the left side, when he's been able to take out Rankin and Andiko, and Benge over on the right side when he's dealing with Thomas and Asgard, has just controlled the between Mbenge and Ebitiomen. Those two players have just controlled 80% of the pitch. Yeah, and Dorset too, I guess. Make it 85% of the pitch. It's been. I'm with you. If you're Wigan, you've got to do something different coming out of this one, because they've just had, other than that Hugill opportunity when Pereira came out. What were your thoughts on that? Do you think Pereira should have came and collected that one? When Hugill got that left-footed opportunity, the one shot that they had that ended up on Pereira's knees as he fell to the ground.
Yeah, I don't know. I always look at those like, I'm thinking the keeper should be way out, but then now after watching, the number of times that players go for that chip over the top.
Chip over the top. Yeah.
I mean, the Stockport chip, granted it was a perfect chip, but he wasn't that far out and he got beat. So it kind of makes me and the other thing is I mean, you would have had to have anticipated that your defender was going to play it as bad as he did, right? Like, I don't think you should have been giving up that kind of breakaway. He was heading the wrong direction to get him on an offsides or something, and breaks free like that. It was pretty bad. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a philosophy, right? Like, do you come out and cut off the angles? Are you, willing to be way out and risk the chip, or do you sit back and goal and hope that your defense doesn't allow them, an extremely easy entrance in and then blasting it. So
I guess the answer could always be as simple as, did they score? And they didn't. He was able to get that one, but I thought that there was enough time. I think he just misjudged the pace on the ball and thought it was going to land on Hugo's feet or be just in front, that if he came out to go and get it, that he was going to get danced around and look.
When I was watching that keeper, I didn't have a lot of faith in him. The Reading keeper didn't give me like, he's a wall kind of vibes. He looked shaky even when he dropped down and blocked the 5-hole.
On the shots, yes, his confidence to go and get ball, I was impressed with. But yeah, I'm with you on his. I mean, we've only seen one shot that was on target and one other opportunity where he came and was kind of in a weird position. But I'm definitely with you. He in limited sample, he didn't look confident on the shot taking side, but he did have that real nice steal on an attempt through the box that he came out and collected quite nicely. I thought that he had to be quick to go and grab. The players are making their way out on the pitch, dodging the sprinklers, which just turned down. That's not going to be my halftime activity, is watching to see people getting blasted by the sprinklers as they're soaking things down. And at the half, caught somebody in the last game, almost got somebody in this one as we're getting close. And W&G, massive appreciation to you for updating us with the scores going through this one. The one that stands out for me is Shrewsbury getting absolutely blitzed earlier today, 4-1. And Brendan, just before you leave, you said that was all a whole bunch of late goals? Not well executed, as Wigan able to nick that one off the throw. Dorset does it, doing his thing and controlling that 85%, and there it is with Binden, gets it around. No press to start this one, at least early on. They're allowing Wigan to keep the ball 35 yards back and do whatever they wish to do, as they just maintain their shape and wait to see exactly how they move forward, as Aimson looks to go and try and figure something out. Finds his way through the midfield. 1-2 touches and passes through the midfield before they end up thumping it down the field, and then Dorset just goes and collects it. And he's going to spin it away, and we'll have a Wigan throw-in down the right-hand side. A little bit of possession early for the Latics. Latics got to be started, and I guess I was muted, but now I'm back. And away we run. Sam Tickle, left-hand side. I was on mute for a little bit, but we got it. Barnsley goes up 2-0 on Lincoln. This whole season is going to be a whole lot of fun. Like, as you're starting to get to know the teams around you and the storylines are developing and all that sort of stuff, there's not a lot of wasted games. It seems like every game has something in it, and it's only going to get crazier as the run-in ends up coming. And now we have a turnover, and here comes Reading for the first time in this half, as they've got a counter-attack building, and a bit of a slow pass there, and able to turn that one away. Called a hospital pass by the broadcaster, which you'd expect in rugby or in hockey, where you're going to get cleared out, and not so in this one. Football, not one I accord with a hospital pass being likely, because nobody's going to get wiped out. And late challenge, no foul. Asgard goes down, and it's going to go the other way. Asgard looks like he's 14 years old. I mean, except for the height. But he's been trying to work the entire game. Asgard has been. He's been sort of the poster child for Wigan. Oh, handball not given. So, I mean, wouldn't have been ended in a penalty, but I think that should have been a turnover. But Reading gets control anyway. But Asgard's been trying to build down that left side, working with Thomas, and hasn't had an opportunity, as that one's neatly collected by Dorset and pulled back to the keeper, Pereira. Another giveaway, and here comes Reading down the right-hand side, looking for something into the box. Your second half just started. Are you watching? Oh, you're watching Blackpool Stockport. A late return. How many did you have? A whole bunch of extra minutes at W&G in yours? Pushed forward, left side. Dorset all the way up front, draws it back. And they're going to set this back up and work through Bindon and come bring it all the way back. And it's over to Mbengwe. Going to switches on. Nope, switches back. Oh, I thought that was well defended, but ended up calling a foul. I don't know if he clipped him or not. But I actually think that Smith for Wigan came up and dealt with that one quite nicely. But in any event, Mbengwe, right-hand side, long searching ball. Couldn't get it for Elliott. And it's going to be a goal kick. Tickle. No urgency in this one. At the moment, either club just looking to build up slowly, keep control through the backfield. Giveaway there. Nice little 1-2, and it's Dorset going to be moving all the way forward, just 20 yards out of the box before he draws it back. Savage spun himself into the ground and lost the ball, and I tried to draw something, but there was nobody in his vicinity. I think that was just a stumble, and then a nice little stabbing. Bindon takes that one over and gets it to Ebby Tioman. Middle of the pitch, Ebby Tioman, right-hand side. Oh, through ball, and I actually like that play by Kamara trying to push it over to the right-hand side. I think that was Smith he was looking to link up with, and Smith didn't know that he was going to push the through ball forward. Had Smith turned and gone, that would have been wide open over on the right-hand side, but instead it rolls harmlessly for a goal kick. Huddersfield scores, thanks W&G, goes up 2-0 on Stevenage. There is a press. They started the half settling their forwards. Wigan did at the 35-yard mark. They've now moved them up to the 20-yard mark, and they force another turnover there as Dorset tries to get it across. Oh. Wigan player goes down on a little tiny bit of pressure from Elliott, and there have been some soft calls this half as far as allowing fouls, because I actually think Asgard just lost control of that one and had it taken away. But the official says that was a foul. Wigan now trying to push forward. Long ball through the floor, and it gets all the way forward, and they're able to maintain control with Thomas on the left-hand side, working with Asgard. Lose possession. That's been a common occurrence, and that's a long lifted ball, and it's there for Ebby Tioman, who goes and called that offside. Ebby Tioman punching the ball in frustration. The weird thing about Ebby Tioman when you look at him is, and Brennan raised it, is it doesn't look like he's exceptionally pacey. And when you watch him physically, he reminds me of when I was 15, tall and weighed about 120 pounds. I mean, I'm not saying he's that small, but he's a slight individual, tall, slight man. But he's been impressive up there. Wigan getting some control. and then just another giveaway. It's like make 2 or 3 plays, advance the ball forward, end up just giving it away. And there's Pereira with a horrible clearance trying to push it down, and instead he just kicks it out of play. And so he's giving away the ball, and here comes the Latics trying to do something. See what Wigan can do here is if they build through Ameson over to the left-hand side and trying to find some way to get it. I'm getting pop-ups from the local pundits Discord that's telling me all the scores in League 2, fascinatingly enough, as it goes through. And Rankin with a dangerous ball into the box, 18-yard area, but not able to be controlled, and it gets spun around, and Redding's able to grab it, and he's being held running the ball out. Nice little play, fought off about 3 or 4 guys. It has been a good start for Mansfield Town. I'm more impressed by their win in the first match. I think this match against Burton Albion, you'd expect them to get 3 points in this one, but they're starting themselves quite nicely into League One. Another entry into the 18-yard box for Wigan as they're starting to poke around and maybe find some holes potentially. I mean, Reading does just keep getting control and clearing it out, but the fans recognizing that Wigan's gotten some momentum for the first time in a long time, you hear the crowd getting into it at Select Car Leasing Stadium. Right footer from Wigan all the way down to the left-hand side. Nice little touch to flick it away, but a little bit too far, and Asgard has to get control of it and does. Chambers running straight towards the middle of the pitch, tries to take on 3 guards, and Asgard throws his hands up and gives him, what are you doing? He just put his head down and ran in a straight line vector. I'm going to the goal, and there were 3 guys here who just came over and closed in on him and took the ball off of him. I believe that was Smith. Smith now, left footer, trying to get it over Thomas. Asgard coming up in support. Has Chambers who joins. Right footer into the box, headed away. I think that was Dorset who ended up getting that, and it flicked on so Ebitioman can't go and get it, but Redding grabs it and thumps it down the pitch, and more of a release than anything else of pressures. That's headed down, and just enough headed down into the arms of Tickle. With Smith with it for Wigan, all the way up to Asgard. Thomas, left-hand side, running to the wings. Wigan, somebody stepped offside. Asgard now even more vocal with the frustration. Are we getting subs here? I'm trying to figure out what the delayed whistle is for. Does look like there's going to be some changes here that are coming in at the 56-minute mark, and I'm assuming those are. He's pulling them back. All right, so we are back underway. Mbenge with it, right footer, long searching ball down the right-hand side. Not played well there by Ameson. He's got to go back and collect it, but he's able to do that, and he gets it to Tickle, who just turns it the other way. Mbenge heads it the other way. Knocked down, and here comes Redding. Numbers up front, running through the middle of the pitch and leaked forward, and they're saying offside, but I don't think it was. He goes in, and that should be in the back of the net. It is. MBT Yeoman, the Wigan players calling that out for offside, and it wasn't. That was just a really, really brutal turn, but I believe it was Kerr. And it ends up with a free hit, and Tickle comes out and makes the first sort of save, flicks it up in the air, but MBT Yeoman, the only man there to collect it, wide open net, and he just pushes it through into the right corner. Ebby Yeoman with an assist and a goal, and so that was Smith who had the opportunity, who they all say was offside, and I don't think that he was, and the players are all looking. Tickle comes out and stops the attempt by Smith. It goes up in the air, lands on the pitch. The defender's not going back because they thought it was offside, and so Ebitioman, they're searching it down, able to go and get it with his right foot and just punch it into the back of the net. And Tickle fuming that nobody came back in support. Fuming. Well, it's one of those ones you see everybody put their hand up, and I get it. You want to do that, but the least you could do is turn and run towards goal with your hand up. But they just stopped at the top of the 18-yard box, and nobody in Reading quit. And I didn't think live it was offside. I thought it was close, but I thought as he was dragging him in slowly, you could see Smith was moving slowly through the two defenders, and you could see he was lined up when contact was made. And the joy of him not being at full pace and running slow, that was a horrible play by Aimson and Kerr turning around for Wigan. 2-0, Reading. I just got an audio blip on mine. I'm going to mute for a second just because it's going to come through my speakers. Oh, and as I go and touch things, it clears itself up. Turn away. Wigan steal the ball. 18-yard box. Crossed in. Short side. Oof. And it stopped and it goes out. And that's got to be... I thought that has to be a corner. That has to be a corner. He touched the ball before it hit the side of the net. That's exactly what happened. So Wigan's able to get at least a corner out of that attempt. And that was, I believe that was a Deco. Yeah, it was. It was a Deco who had that opportunity. 18-yard box, only about 3 yards away from the net. Took a short angle attempt, and here comes the entry in, and not threatening at all, headed neatly away. And was that Abby Tioman again defending that near post? It was so. The man is everywhere. Good morning to the young man who fell asleep in my bed, who's now just up. Aziz coming in as a sub, number 11, and we'll see who he's taking off. Oh, we're going to do a whole mass Wigan changeover as Jones, 44, comes in. I can't even keep track of what's happening here. Z is in, 44 Jones, 2 Ramsey, and I missed somebody. And you're going to get Sessignon coming off, which that one makes sense to me because he's been butchered the entire game by Abby Tioman. It's interestingly enough, you look at the spot mob stats, and he's leading the team or tied for the team lead at 6.5. Maybe because he's had a lot of opportunities, but looking at his body of work for that one, and Abby Tioman coming off early. Interesting decision to take off the man who's dominated the entire game, and for Aziz, if you're Wigan, you're celebrating. But some little preservation, Abby Tioman. You've done your work. You've defensively heading that last attack away. You've had that beautiful assist. You've had the goal now. And you set up Smith for what probably could have been a goal as well earlier on. Interesting. I wonder if he's got a niggle or something and they're just maybe preserving him, because that seems like an odd managerial move to me. And Reading may be looking to pull away from the press and just defensively shell this up, and that's what the Wigan announcers are saying. Oh, nice little touch there. And that was one of the subs who just come in, McManaman, on down the right-hand side, able to get that and cross it into the box, and maybe one of the more threatening crosses. But ultimately collected by Reading and turned the other way as Wigan looking to build. The press is not on. This is now looking like it's going to be a park the bus mentality for Reading. I'm fascinated by that. If you have something that's working in complete control on both sides of the pitch, I don't see a reason to pull this down and completely go by the script and say we're going to close it down and park the bus and just try to maintain for 30 minutes, because now you're just inviting Wigan with possession to find opportunities. But in any event, McManaman with it over on the right-hand side, draws it back. That's another new sub, Ramsey, who's going to be working with him. Over on that other side, down the right side, and there's Smith still on the pitch. As Cheltenham gets a goal. Luke Young. Did I see that? Did that just pop up that Luke Young scored in the... somebody go to Cheltenham, because I think that's the first goal for Luke Young in a Cheltenham kit. It is 61st minute. They're down 2-1 to Grimsby. Jordan Davis also scoring in the game. Wrexham everywhere. So that just had a pop-up that told me that Luke Young scoring. So under contract Wrexham man on loan scores in the 44th minute. Former Wrexham captain that he's playing against in Cheltenham scores at the 61st minute. And that's an interesting little tidbit to occur as Wigan gets an opportunity here. Reason to watch the highlights in that one. And there's an opportunity, and that's a save by Pereira punching that one away. And this is what I said is dangerous. Why are you inviting this if you are the Reading manager? It makes absolutely zero sense to me. But I'm not a professional manager, but somebody tell me why. Why, when you've controlled this game from top to bottom, and Wigan's not had a stiff as Wigan again entered into the box. They've got control now, 20-yard box. Smith, right-hand side, tried to flick it in, headed away. And you're fascinating. Now you have Tickle running out to the 35-yard box to turn it the other way as he gets it to Ramsey over on the right-hand side. Ramsey, Jones. And it's just possession here for Wigan. We'll see if they're able to do anything with it. And Ramsey with it. Now the switch over to the left-hand side. Jones down the left-hand side. Drawn all the way back as Wigan searching for options in a sea of white and blue jerseys in front of them. McManaman. Searching. Tough tackle in the middle of the pitch there. That wasn't a deco, was it? We'll figure that out. There's too much going on now on the pitches. It's now over to the right-hand side. McManaman looking to advance things forward. Right foot to switch it over to the left-hand side, but it doesn't go far enough, and it's able to get knocked down and just cleared. And that's what we're going to see here for the remainder of the match is just Reading punching it down the pitch. And Wigan trying to find a way to get in behind as that opportunity just begged for the question previously on Pereira as they showed that replay of Pereira diving to the left to make the save. From the midfield, looking to the left side too far, and Reading's going to get the throw in, sort of a wasted kick that went all the way down to Jones. I'm excited to watch the Grimsby Cheltenham highlights, and didn't think I'd be saying that before this one, as that one goes out and it'll be a goal kick. Lost control on the left-hand side to Jones, and so he advances it forward to Pereira to try to encourage him to take it. Also, that wasn't Jones, 14 instead of 44. That's the other sub, Z, who I saw for the first time. We're already into time-wasting mode. Like, that's... Park the bus. Kill the time. I'm curious as far as attendance. This one seems a little bit light just looking around the stadium. And I know Reading has a large, nice stadium. But I'm curious as to what their capacity is at Select Car Leasing Stadium. And I don't know it off the top of my head. 24,161. So it is a big one comparatively. Wigan with control. Smith searching down the right-hand side. Goes down and finds McManaman. McManaman dances around this first guy. Nice little move. It gets it into the middle of the pitch, and it's drawn on back. Ramsey goes wide, draws it back. And this is going to be Kerr. Kerr moving forward, middle of the pitch, 25 yards out, draws it back. Ramsey. Right-hand side. He's got lots of space to run with it, and so he ventures in, left-footed, blocked, and cleared away, and it's going to be a free kick the other way. That was an awkward-looking challenge as Ameson just put his hand over top of Aziz, who's the forward now, and just draws him back. Oh, no, sorry, not Aziz, Smith. And draws him back and gives up the free kick, and Reading with an opportunity to get the ball down pitch. Looking at the table, 4 teams so far who are looking to gain 3 points. Smith offside, takes a shot, saved anyway, and Smith kind of apologizes humbly, meekly. 4 winners from last week with points so far that look like they could get them on the board. And then the whole bunch of people at 3 points, either with their first win likely today or from last week, and then it just falls off the board after that. Birmingham still even in their game against Wycombe, 69th minute. Fascinating stuff. There's some goals. Oh, I'm wrong. Birmingham up 2-1. Just scored. Thanks, W&G, for getting that. You're ahead of my my Google table. And then Lincoln scoring to draw closer there. In the Premier League, Newcastle's been down a man for 20 minutes and Southampton can't even it up. So one thing about the Prem that's a little bit frustrating is you'd like to see a little bit more of a competitive balance, right? Like you take those top, we'll call it any given year, 6 teams, 8 teams, and then you compare them to those that are just coming up or that notoriously at the bottom. There's very little slide over time. I mean, I guess you're seeing that with Everton, but and James Lee saying exactly what I was saying earlier. I'll never understand English football managers that get a 2-goal lead, that go low block, like keep pressing and attacking. I'm with you, especially when you're dominating at it. I can understand if you were giving up opportunities, but when you had complete control doing it, maintain complete control, as McManaman has been stirring the drink down that right-hand side, and he danced the player, got the cross in front, but not able to be taken down. And now Smith has it 20 yards out. He draws it back and loses control. And so now we're going to go over to the left-hand side, as that's going to be Jones. He gets it over to Smith. The tackle is missed, so there's open on that left-hand side. Cross into the box and is blocked down. And do they get the clear? They do. I don't think that was a bad tackle. I want to see this on the replay again because the studs are down. He got to the ball there first, and the player ended up falling over top of him. Like it was a strong challenge, and I will take that. He slid for the tackle, but the studs were low. They weren't up. He gets the ball first, and then about half a second, the player that was running to go and get the ball ends up clattering over top of him. And they end up saying, I'm going to give you a yellow card for it. So I think that would have been difficult as a foul. If anybody was watching that one and has their thoughts, feel free to bring it in. As Stockport scores against Blackpool and goes up 1-0. Everton getting worked 2-0 by. Yeah, he's going to. I think for Everton, it's just going to be a couple of seasons of frustration. I still think that they're going to find an opportunity to rebuild that up, but you run into some financial problems, and you're going to end up with having problems off the pitch affect you on the pitch, and that's why it's the one thing I want Wrexham to clean up is their sports governance stuff. I'm getting less and less of a fan. As I've just found out that the Academy Club won their game 3-0, the U18s today. I don't know exactly, can't recall who they were playing. I thought that they played yesterday. Accrington Stanley they were playing 3-0. Producer B in my ear with that one. So that's an impressive performance by them. And I think that's 2-0. I might have to pull the standings up for those ones later on. They're always a couple of days behind, it seems, with the U18s. Everton goes down a man. James Lee with the updates on those ones. Appreciate that as we start to collect what's happening around football on days when Wrexham's not playing here. So Wycombe down 2-1 to Birmingham. Wigan down here 2-0. Those are if those results pan out, those are going to be the 4 clubs that don't have any points. Wycombe, Leyton Orient, Wigan, and Shrewsbury. Early in the season, but you want to get out of you never want to be in those bottom 4 spots in League One. Reading with some control here for a period of time. 73 minutes and 20 seconds coming up right now. As they push forward, and there's a push in the back and a free kick going the other way. Wigan trying to be able to find balls. Z getting a little bit overexcited there and just wipes his man out, and Reading takes some control and draws it all the way back down to Mbengwe. At the midfield, just having a bit of a kickabout and forcing Wigan to come up and get them as Mbengwe waits and then draws it back even further and gets it back to Pereira. Mbengwe. Ooh, that's a tough tackle. That one I do see as a card, and I see him into the pocket. Do you reach for the pocket? Is that Sage trying to do everything? And he is going into the book for the yellow card there. The crowd screaming off on that tackle. I don't even think it was an orange card. I think it was certainly a yellow. I don't see that being a red at all. But that was Z trying to do something to steal the ball away, to nick the ball. He got overexcited on the last one, and there was a foul, and that one came in late, and he just swept in and took out the legs of Mbengwe. There's something for me to look at. I'd love for Wrexham to bring in Brighton's assistant sporting director. Loves their club model. And we own all clubs when it comes to marketing. Aided, yes, by the documentary, but that's what Wrexham does. But the you look at the jersey sales and the mess that happened this year. You look at the fan zone's an interesting development, as it seems to be highly regarded. The firing of their volunteers over and over and over again, the absence of a comment during the FA Cup decision to get rid of the replays, there's just been enough stuff that you're just like, we're losing revenue. Not having the kit for sale during the West Coast tour, and the loss of revenue that happened there, the not going out and getting international players and taking a couple of flyers. I get you build as fast as you have, and you're going to have some leakages, but there seems to be stuff overseen. Jones here going to have a corner, and it's cleared away by Mbengwe. He, while playing Park the Bus, Mbengwe earning his salary. I've been impressed by him as much as I was Ebiti Oman. So you look at Crawley sitting in a 0-0 draw right now. Mansfield is in a 2-2 draw right now, and Stockport in a 1-0 draw right now. So right now you've got 3 of those who were promoted in the top 10. Oh, Stephen, I know our game is on tomorrow. Absolutely. That's why I was covering this one, because I needed to jump on and do something that gives me an opportunity. And I'm probably going to do this more throughout the season. I don't know if I'm going to do the 4:30 in the morning games. But when there are games on and Wrexham's not playing, I will probably cover a match throughout the season, just because it gives me an opportunity to see, as we did today, Mbengwe and Ebiti Oman and how talented they are. It's been something, but thanks for joining us. The slow walk for the throw-in. Mbengwe taking his time, cleaning the ball. And it's going to be the long tozer-like throw. And man, there is a lot of space between, how many yards is that? 6, 7 yards, 10 yards between the edge of the seating and the touchline. Ooh, that should be a free kick the other way. Got the boots up. Did the new sub that just came in. I don't even have his name, and it hasn't loaded up. Free kick taken. Referee blowing the whistle down. He's going to allow for another sub. Stones coming in. The other thing that I found interesting in the rules is there was a change. They're allowing for more subs in the championship, but they're not doing that at the League One and League Two level. The joys of and fun of reviewing for all of the changes that are contained in a 600-page document. But we'll see if I get that out. Maybe by the end of the season, I'll know what all the rule changes were. Wigan with the misplay just cleared it out, and they're going to give more time for Reading to take their time and throw that in. As he was gonna leave it for somebody to come in and replace him, and was like, "Nah, I can't waste time." This obviously, so Wigan has had no sniff, not a sniff. This has been it's a 2-0 game that at the half could have been 4-0. The only thing that's surprising is at the 65th minute, the manager for Reading decided to pull the scorer out and park the bus. And so Reading's been killing time now for 15 minutes, and Wigan's still searching for everything. And Bengwe is shutting them down defensively with the assistance of Dorset in the back line. They've looked very, very good, but really this was Ebiti Omen absolutely throttling people. And interesting. W&G with the report that Burton going up 3-2 on Mansfield. That's 2 quick goals. I don't know how quick those came, but they came out of the middle of nowhere. I didn't even see the announcement of the second one. So let's bring up that score line there. Scored in the 69th minute, and I guess now just in the what would have been the 79th or 80th minute. And so looking to nick this one out at the death. Fascinating. And the glory of W&G, he's ahead of everybody. I've got a 4-3. You don't like my ratio? No, I'm changing things around a little bit, I guess. Northampton scoring to go up on Exeter. And Kim, I don't know if you've caught it, but that it's worth watching the the Cheltenham Town Grimsby highlights, because both Jordan scored and Luke Young in what is now a 2-1 game. That was a foul for Reading with the shoulder charge, and it's going to turn the other way. Playing with the ball, the referee throws out the warning whistle. It says, "Slow down, Elliot, on wasting time. We're not okay with that, kid." 81st minute, 81 minutes coming up on the board here quickly. There it is, as we're still waiting for Wigan to do a thing. I haven't brought up the FOTMOB stats in a while. I'm interested to have a look now that it's been 15 minutes here of control. 5 shots on goal, 3 on target. So that's an improvement of 2 more on target, as Mbengwe just ended up with dealing with some cramps here. Expected goals just at 0.15. Like, it has been Reading in control. And he got the head. That's got the legs swiped out again. And that's 2 tough challenges for Mbengwe, who has been very, very impressive along the back line. In the air, on the ground, coming forward. He's been impressive. Wigan with it, looking to try and crack into the 18-yard box, but they've got 3 defenders around them, and it's just easily nicked away. Spun, looked to be settled down, and it's going to be drawn back, and here goes Reading looking to clear it. Well done by Reading. Just interplay while having players on the press. They thumped the ball all the way down the pitch, but lost control of it. Wigan now. Nice little play by Ramsey. He gets it forward to McManaman. I'm assuming that's McManaman. Taking short, and Wigan trying to get going, trying to find something, trying to score 1 goal to put a little bit more pressure on Reading. But it's just been a constant battle. The closest they seem to be able to get is the 30-yard line, and nothing further. McManaman down the right-hand side, able to get a long ball, and he's got 1-on-1, and he's taking him on the right-hand wing. Nice little dance. Crosses in, but easily cleared away. Lined up 2 guys in front of the short posted Reading to knock down any pass, and he wasn't able to get it up over top. Z over on the right-hand side, not able to dance around anybody, and it gets cleared away. And here they come again. Kerr over to Ramsey. Or Aimson, sorry. That looks like it's Reed 44, or sorry, Jones 44, right-hand side, and then just a wasted right-footed cross that goes near nobody. I don't know where he was putting that one, Jones, but he just missed everybody by a solid, 20 feet, 30 feet. And they blame somebody for not being at the back post to attack it. You can't just cross your fingers and hope somebody's there. You got to have a look around the pitch and see if somebody's there before you end up delivering a ball. Pereira's just going to clear this one out as we get up to the 84-minute mark right now. Stockport leading League One was not on the bingo card. No kidding. Good morning, Alex. How are you? Everybody waking up and catching up on this one. 3-1 Birmingham up on Wycombe, sorry. And then a couple of extra scores from James in the Prem. Sheffield United up on, I guess that's not the Prem, that's the Championship, on QPR, and Arsenal in the Prem up on Wolverhampton. Reading with a Z looking to try and find something around the 20-yard mark, or 20-yard period, 18-yard box, 20-yard mark. Can't do it. No, a Z, nice little dance around, cross into the box, and it's going to go out for a corner. Well done. If you haven't had the chance, just a friendly reminder, the preview is up. Cheltenham scoring to make it 2-2, it looks like, in that Grimsby-Cheltenham match. That looks like a fun highlight to watch after this one. If you haven't watched the Bolton preview video, the Who Are You series, feel free to watch that one. And then also the response. We brought in Ben the corner. Nothing from it on the right-footed in-swinger, but then outside the box, got a long thump that ends up getting cleared out. Ben Timberlake joining us from the Fan Zone Pod, and had a good conversation with him. And that went better than I thought. Got a wealth of knowledge, some good information, and some interesting details regarding the elite sports person's visa, the exemption that they used for Schoen to come in. It was just something that I still would love to see Wrexham utilize, and hasn't yet. So make sure you watch those. And although I'll throw it out there, the sponsor, Ultimate Promotions, ultipromo.com, ultimatepromotions.biz. If you're looking for pins, if you're looking for medals, if you're looking for badges, they do that custom artwork, the free shipping, the artwork's free as well. They'll set you all up and get that done. You want enamel, you want stamp pins, you want badges, those nice little medals. Check them out, ultipromo.com. Had an opportunity off that corner, easily collected by Tickle, and now Wigan's going the other way. But even with the park, the bus, and the defenders out, and Ebby Tioman out there, just nothing working for Wycombe, and that's Mbengwe again. Just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful work on Hugill, who was up there to try and battle him one-on-one, and Mbengwe just grabs the ball, spins around on it to maintain possession, turns it around, and Reading clears. Gorgeous defense. Gorgeous. Crawley scoring. My word. Who had Crawley sitting up in a playoff spot? Sitting on 6 points, just behind Huddersfield and Stockport, near the end of the second week. Bonkers. Birmingham, though, eking its way forward with its lead of 3-1. Taking their 4 points and marching their way closer to the top of the table. And this Reading squad, which I'm going to be honest, they took on Birmingham. They strutted their stuff. They've now throttled Wigan. I know the score is only 2-0, but they have entirely controlled and dominated this game as Jones, 88 minute, looking for something on the right wing. As I have the mischievous one opening the door and sneaking in with a cheeky little grin. and the wisdom to pull the door closed. Good for him. That is a 2.5-year-old in training. Jones goes near post and Bangwe there. The man is everywhere. This whole Reading, I don't want to take away from the Savage goal, and I don't want to take away from the work that the defenders have done. But it just, opportunity there, headed towards the goal, knocked down, kicked forward again, and on the ground hits a player. And that was the closest that Wigan has got to a sniff on anything. The first real opportunity to get one in. 2 opportunities, and then they end up being cleared. And here's the last little bit of subs at the 89th minute, as you've got 2 more players coming in. Stockport 2-0 up now on Blackpool. Norwich, interesting that scorer, James, just highlighting in the championship with the 2-1 lead over Norwich with the 2-1 lead. Blackburn came out the chute, and you look at their cup match and you look at that, they look like they were good. Hard to argue with 18 shots from Reading. It has been, like, if I'm Wigan, I'm going back to the drawing board. They just haven't done anything. Burnley 3-0 over Cardiff City. Lots of scores, lots of activity, and I'm loving the opportunity to see for internationals. We have no complaints over the blackout window being avoided, giving us an opportunity to get caught up on other squads during this, and then take on our match, Wrexham, tomorrow, and others around. Wycombe trying to draw back in on Birmingham late, 3-2. We'll probably stay 4 minutes of added time on this one. We'll probably stay till some of the scores, and there's just a giveaway. Z's moving forward on the turnover, and he gets a shot on net, and Tickle able to grab that one, leaning left to save that, and he spins it the other way. Z's about as good as he could do 1-on-4. I mean, he flipped that one forward and had lots of field to run and had all 4 defenders just closing in on him. Draws himself left and does get a shot. And that's about as impressive as he could have asked of him in the circumstances, all by himself, trying to stir the drink and get one. Oh, boy. Looking around, Rotherham interesting to me too, because there's an opportunity. Oh, nice shot from 19 yards out, just outside the box. Aziz looking for that top left corner, not able to get there, just missing over top of the net. Even in a defensive shell, it's Aziz. He did cross the 18-yard box when he took that shot. It's still Reading with control. And they had been in a shell earlier, but now the press is actually forward. And that's the thing for me, is why change what's been working for you the whole time? But Rotherham sitting down with a single point. They had the loss in the first match. They're looking at a 0-0 draw 4 minutes into added time in Rotherham for that one. Exeter City taking them out in the first game. They made a lot of changes, and I had Rotherham on a bounce back. I actually thought that it's them and Birmingham City. I had Bolton sitting in the 3 spot at the start of the season for this one with my predictions, and they're sitting there near the bottom of the table. Yeah, it could be the same story with Birmingham for sure. A lot of changes. It means it's going to take some time to find their feet together as a club. 42 minutes, 35 seconds, a minute and a half to go in this one, which has been a controlled half by Reading in a match where they thumped the heck out of the first. And the cheers are coming out with every pass here. The away, away, away. Way. Every pass of the ball is getting a cheer. All the way to Aziz, who was onside and had on the wrong side of the defender, works his way in, left shot, save, Tickle. and the officials looking, or the defenders looking at the lino for a offside call, and that's the second time where your line's not straight. And when your line's not straight and the other team's taking advantage of it, you got to go back to the video room, guys, because Ramsey put him on in that one. And you can be frustrated as you want to, but that's not offside. Which club are we talking about, James? Tim had full control of the transfer window and the team he's built for Julian. We're talking Cardiff? Stevenage trying to get back in on the Huddersfield's game late as well. We're over. We've finished. We're at the end here, and I'm probably not going to be on for too long, 9, but I've got 15 minutes, 30 minutes to kind of chat about things, as we'll be here same damn time tomorrow for the big one, Wrexham Bolton. Make sure you join us for that one. I'm sure you guys, we've got the regulars here more than anybody else soaking in this one. And so I'm excited for that one, obviously. A big one, big stadium, tough team, built different than this Reading team, I would suggest. This one has more superstar punch than Bolton does, but not as deep, where that Bolton team, I think you can take anybody and put them on the pitch that they've got in their lineup, and they'd fit in nicely. 4-0 Brighton ends up scoring. Let's go to the table as they're going to wrap this one up. I don't need to watch. This was a showcase game for Kelvin Ebitiomen. And Brendan, if you're going to join in, because I can't see you, you'll have to let me know when you're there. And you have the FOT Mob stats up for the game, so let's just go through those ones really quickly. Possession 53-47, and that's obviously a significant contributor to the play of Redden in the second half. They were more in a defensive shell, although at the end of the game they had more opportunities. Expected goals 2.24 to 0.49. Dominant by Reading. 20 shots, 7 shots on target, 5 big chances. I'm surprised that 5 big chances and 3 big chances missed only gets you to 2.24 expected goals. I think it could have very easily been 4-0 in this one. The passes, as you would expect for the team that was behind, they've gone ahead and 409 to 356. That's a lot of passes during the game. 350, 380, I would suggest being the normal metric for stuff that's there. No shots off the woodwork, more block shots from Reading, but Brendan, tell me I'm wrong. Mbengwe and Ebitiomen, basically 2 players with some assistance from Dorset, entirely controlled that match from start to finish. Wigan's defense maybe a little suspect. Well, Sessignon, number 5, if I have his name off hand by memory, Sessignon, he had a horrible game down the right side. I wasn't so critical of Kerr. I mean, it wasn't great, but Sessignon, he just got beat frequently. So, and we've got the goal just announced in the winner in the Cheltenham Grimsby match went to Jordan Davis. So that's 2 goals from the Wrexham man playing for Grimsby. And the last late minute winner seems to be the score there. So those are going to be highlights that are going to be a must watch as soon as they come out. Going through as everything wraps up, Marie just identifying that Mansfield just tied it up to bring it 3-3. And so they've battled into looking to grab a point in that one. Crawley Town finishes with a win. And so Crawley Town sitting at the top of the table with Charlton, Huddersfield, and Stockport is fascinating. Reading, Birmingham, Mansfield, Bristol Rovers just sitting in behind. That was a draw for Bristol Rovers. Who did they play in the first one? Because they've equal with Rotherham. And then you go to the previous one, which would have been their win as against Northampton Town, which I guess probably not that surprising. You'd expect them to take that one out. And so still figuring things out with the table, but starting to take shape a little bit. Peterborough had the loss in the first one, but they are able to win this one, as we're looking at Birmingham trying to take this one home 3-2 up against Wycombe. I keep calling them Wycombe. It is Wycombe, not Wigan. Wycombe. Tongue twister only because I've been watching Wigan all day. That Wycombe sounds weird. What's your thoughts on what's been going on around the league? What it means, if anything at all? Too early to tell. I'm sure maybe part of it. But what's the standout early story and scratch your head moment or surprise? Rotherham. Oh, you're on mute. Just caught that.
Sorry, I did it again. Yeah,
you did it again.
I'm an idiot.
I'll let you keep going. I'll just answer this one for James Lee that was out there. Reading was that good. That wasn't Wigan. I mean, Wigan, to the point that Brendan made, it could be just Sessegnon being in rough shape. The defender for Wigan that allowed for Ebitiomen to look that good. But really, Mbengwe and Ebitiomen and Dorset, to a certain extent, controlled the heck of that game. And Wigan didn't have an answer. Wigan, one threat, quasi-threat in the entire game. It was Reading nonstop, just coming downhill at them. So Burnley up 5-0. Crawley Town noted as being the surprise for Marie. That's, I think, what you identified there in yours. Kim says Crawley's still, we're going to get relegated. I don't care what the table says. There's certainly time for that. I mean, we've still got 44 games left in this beast of a season. 45 for Wrexham, as we're a game behind until tomorrow. So anyway, your thoughts on Crawley Town, and then I'll just let you repeat exactly what you just said.
Yeah, I was saying that the call out should be Crawley Town in the fact that they got rid of 9 of their starters from their winning team and their promotion team, and then got in what appeared to be mostly League Two players, and have got their act together. And even though they're not playing top talent necessarily in the League One in their first 2 games, they got it done. They got 2 wins, whereas Rotherham switched out the majority of their roster, and they don't appear to have their act together. And Birmingham isn't lighting it up necessarily like we'd expect. We thought they were going to throttle most everybody, and I mean, they're winning, they're getting it done, but they don't seem to be, clicking on all cylinders yet. So Crawley should get a ton of the credit. The other thing is, we talked about how Charlton's doing well. I think we're going to have to watch out for Barnsley. When I watched that game, once they made it, they gave up 2 semi-quick goals in the first 30 minutes, and then they switched some things around with their formation, and they looked every bit as good as Reading looked today, which was just totally dominant. And they weren't able to come back and get the win. But they had so many great shots that they should have scored 3-4 goals in the remaining 2/3 of the game, and they didn't. And then it looks like they dominated today. So Barnsley's one to watch. I think they're going to shoot right at the table and be in the top 3 or 4. So.
It was interesting. I just brought up the FOTMOB stats on the Stockport Blackpool game, and certainly something to watch. But as I go through them, it's an interesting game to try and dissect what happened. To Kim's messages from last year, 10 total shots, no shots on target for Blackpool. So, an interesting strategy is what I remember Kim saying. not getting any shots on target is an interesting strategy. And conversely, only 4 shots on target out of the 10 shots for Stockport, but they scored on 3 of them. The passing percentages don't look that exceptional. Corey Adai being signed over from Crawley to Stockport County. And for them, they tend to think that he's going to be in the running and should be considered like Ogonkwo or like Baxter for Bolton as a top League One goaltender. I'm not that convinced about him. I think that he's capable, but I think he's benefited as much from the team around him as much as being an exceptional goalkeeper. But he didn't have to do any work today and got his second clean sheet of the season. So that's interesting to see. But you go through the stats. The fouls committed were equal. The corners, Blackpool actually had more than Stockport in that one. So an interesting one that you see 3-0. The highlights will be fun to watch on that one because it certainly doesn't stand out statistically as one that Stockport County dominated that much. 0.78 on expected goals, 0.52 for Blackpool. But the reality is not a single shot on target. You can't win games if you don't hit the net. I don't know. Any other stories? We're just kind of I'm just trying to get caught up on what the table's got is all of the games have now wrapped up. The only ones outstanding, Wrexham and Bolton sitting at 10th and 11th. Leading into this one, you draw a tie, you can be no worse than 8th. You lose, you're no worse than 16th. And you pull a win, and you can be no worse than 4th. And in fact, goal differential, you'd be just on goal differential, you'd be actually no worse than 3rd or 4th, I guess, because Charlton would move down on that. You'd have to have a thumper to be able to catch Stockport, who 5 goals for and 0 goals against. As looking through, let me load that up. It's only Stockport, Charlton, Bristol Rovers are the only 3 goals who haven't allowed a goal so far this season after 2 games. And then you look down the other way. Rotherham hasn't scored, Cambridge, and Wigan. And maybe it's just a weak Wigan side makes anybody look good. Is there a thought to that, Brendan?
It's possible. I mean, they did not look good. They did not look particularly threatening at all. If we had Wigan on the schedule in the next few games, I'd be pretty excited.
Yeah, no, I know it's in December. I thought it was 29th off the top of my head. I just loaded it up now. It is the 29th. December 29th is we'll have them in one of that 4-game run that we have around Christmas and New Year's. Game before, game after the 29th, and then New Year's, and so it'll get packed in there, and they're one of those games. It's interesting. I kind of like having Birmingham earlier on in the seasons to try and see if they're able to figure it out. If you've got to play the top team, get them when you might have them at the weakness of not.
Yeah, I call these tough away games early. As long as you take care of business and win the home games that you're supposed to win. And if you can just pick up a draw here and there against some of these tough teams, which you'd have a decent shot early in the season. That's why a draw against Bolton tomorrow would be big, I think.
Massive. When I went and looked at it, I mean, the reason why, yes, you have a home game against Wycombe, and none of the games in League One are easy, but you expect that to be one to take. But then you look at Bolton, you look at Reading, you look at Peterborough, then you've got a derby game against Shrewsbury and a game against Birmingham. I went, man, this run is going to be nasty. I said it at 8 points would be acceptable to me. That's sort of the neutral bar. Well, actually, that's pretty good, I would say. I think the neutral bar would have been somewhere around 7, 6. 8 was what I was kind of thinking I'd be okay with if we pulled 8 points in those first. That's a 2-2-2 record. It certainly becomes easier if you're able to pull an away win. or an away win. It would be an away win or an away draw. Wrexham going to have a perfect season, no losses in league play. Steve, we're going to throttle the record. I don't even know what that is. I think I know this. The record for most points in League One is 103, and I know that because it happened recently, and I was doing some statistics, which I should still make the video about, to try and find out how many points you need to get to move up and down from League One. But 138 points available. Is that what we're saying? And we're gonna maintain all of them, Stephen. I hope you're right. We'll find out. We'll keep the streak going tomorrow. 2 games.
Hopefully Reading got their good game out of the way, right? They'll be too full of themselves coming in against Wrexham next week.
Yeah, that one's going to be a battle. Early on in the season, I don't know if Scar's going to be able to eke his way into the lineup based on at least his cup performance. It's my take on things. Parky likes to slowly add his guys, and he's comfortable with. That's going to be Max. Max is going to have Ebi Tioman, and it'll be interesting to see how he ends up rolling with him.
How do you think that's going to go? Do you think Scar will be more of a O'Connell sub, or will he be paired with O'Connell? And then if so, is he subbing O'Connor or Max? And do you think it's one of those things where if it's a physical player on Max's side, then Max is gone? If it's a physical guy on TOC side, he's gone? Like, where does Scar get used?
If Scar comes as advertised and you assume that he is the best defender, right, and that we have, and you assume that he is strongest in the center of our back three, he takes over in that position from O'Connell. But O'Connell is I think number 2, and you can't take him off the pitch.
So where do you think he dominates or he's supposed to be dominant in all categories, like in the air, challenges, tackles, like.
That's what the report card is. That's what people from third parties have said, is that Scar is best in the center of your backline 3, and that he's the best defender that we've got, and that to them that they're shocked that we would even consider that O'Connell is there. So if I assume, and I'm not saying I haven't seen that for me, and you know that I've been critical of O'Connell in the past.
Yeah, you're not a big O'Connell fan.
I won't. I'm not a. I don't hate the man by any stretch, but he's been one that I've had to warm up to, and he's proven himself. He's made me eat my hat. So if I assume that that's true, that Scar, Kim says that Scar is going to take O'Connor's spot. The problem is I think that Scar is better on his right side than his left, and so I think that Cleworth is preferred. If you've got to pull somebody out of the starting 3, and EOC is going to slide over to one side, I think O'Connell slides over to the right. And he says Scar will challenge McLean for shithousery. Yeah, I can see. McLean for the housery. But Dobson's not housery. Dobson's just an aggressive tackler, and I think that's different. To me, he doesn't like to get into the shtick and the after the whistle plays and all that sort of stuff. Not that I've seen anyway. Early days, and we'll see whether I'm wrong. But for me, it's if everybody's running optimally, it's Scar in the middle, EOC on the right, and probably O'Connor on the left. And I say that only because, from what I understand, Scar is better on the right. I think Cleworth is our 3rd best defender at the moment, if everybody's running at top level. At top level, no injuries, everybody's having a solid season. Scar, EOC, Cleworth, and then O'Connor would be my top 4.
So I've seen Max make some nice passes ahead, but wouldn't you say that for advancing the ball, TOC is going to be much better in progressing the ball forward for the coming from the back line there, as opposed to Cleworth?
I if you asked me this question a year ago, I would say absolutely. Now I think that what was part of Max's challenges in his game was his passing and advancing the ball forward. But in the last half of the season last year and leading into this year, I think that's gone from a potential area of weakness to an area of strength. Cleworth's top talent in my eyes is his positional play. He's got just a radar around where things are at, and his ability to see the play developing and make plays on the ball. That's his strength. And that leads to his ability to make good tackles and to win aerials is because of his positional play and his radar is so good. But he's improved so much at advancing the ball forward. His through balls, some of those through balls leading to some of the goals are exceptional level. And so that's why I suggest that he's potentially past TOC on the
only other thing I would say is if you're looking at, the fact that they consider the back line 5, right? And you're looking at your 2 wing backs.
Yeah.
Barney is the weaker defender, unless, of course, Revan's out there. But if it's McLean and Barney's more offense, right? And so if you're going to stack a better defender behind him to cover more, then you're probably going to want to go with Scar instead of Clearwood, right? Presuming you're not taking out O'Connell, right? So
right.
If you're going to be taking out, either TOC or Max, then I'm thinking for the team defense, you may be better with Max because Barney's always trying to cheat ahead and get out and go, which drives our offense, right? So,
yep.
Not that he's doing anything wrong, he's playing to his strengths, and you can kind of count on McLean more on the left, and that combo, TOC and McLean should hold up better and need less help, you'd think, than with the other side. So
I absolutely take that point and can't disagree with you. I mean, it's interesting for me because you see the game. It's only a 1-game sample. It's Scar's first out there with the current team. I thought that he was when he was in position, his touch of the ball, his clearances were like they were let's call them beautiful even, but he got caught out of position a couple of times, and so you missed a lot of content. You missed us watching a Reading beatdown of Wigan is what you watched. You watched the Abby Tioman special, and we've just been talking about watching him bust down the left. What do we expect to be on the right? And sort of doing an audit of our back line because he was that good today. And Mbengwe down because he'll be on the left side, so that's going to be Revan on him, I guess, or McLean. And Lee taking him on. That'll be interesting to see, as I think you're going to want to have Barney over there. And to be fair, Dorset entirely closed down Adiko and Ranking on that right-hand side. And so, I mean, I don't know. Comparison, we'll end up looking at things as to see how they go. If Dorset ends up getting abused by Barney, if Mbengwe is able to hold up, but it's going to be a fascinating battle. And that's the joy of being able to watch these games, is now we have those questions with information. What's your take on the left-hand side with Mbengwe and how good he was? Do you have somebody who you saw maybe a weakness that you can look to try to exploit?
I don't know. I would say that what I think Barney does that I don't see a lot with a lot of the other teams that have wing backs is he plays very wide. I mean, he is all the way out there. He dances in and out of bounds constantly, right? So I think he really spreads the defense and opens it up for runners. And just based on his straight up speed and the fact that he's more offensively focused, I think it causes their defense to get a little more vulnerable, right?
Yeah, and his passing's solid enough that he can make it from pretty much anywhere, which is I think why he can play as wide as he does as well, right? He's got the work rate and the
his crosses are phenomenal at the speed that he's running. I mean, anyone can probably cross the ball when they have time to set it up, but he's doing it a stride or two past getting an edge on the guy. Very impressive. So I mean, at the very least, if you can take a defender way wide like that and occupy him, then it's a positive. So
A2Z jumping in here to say look to go to a 4-3-3 would be better. We never will. We'll just modify ourselves in our 3-5-2 as or 5-3-2 if you want to call it that, one way or the other. And on Bolton, look, I'm a Bolton fan as much as anybody, and I like the fact that he can run the middle of the box. That's not, I think, what we need against Dorset. And when it was attempted by Adiko and Ranking, it was closed out the entire game. I don't see Bolton being exceptionally higher than or better than Rankin and Adiko. And so I think you're looking for the reasons that Brendan just identified. You're looking for hopefully Barney able to expand the pitch on that side, being an opportunity. And if he's getting enough support from, is it going to be Cannon in our midfield? I don't think so. Are we going to be running Lee, Rathbone, and
why are we not calling him Boner?
Because I got chastised that the players choose the nicknames.
Okay.
And so I stay silent on that until I hear the nickname, and then I'll go with it. All I know, and the only thing that I want, and it's for come tomorrow more than not more than anything else, I want a Wrexham win, or at least a draw. But after that result, the only other thing that I would be screaming to be happy for is for McLean to get a start, and preferably up front, and I'll be that bold. And I want to see a McLean goal, because with the comments from Bolton on Twitter and elsewhere, they are not McLean fans. And I'll show that one off again. Bought that one off of the store, and so I'm 95% happy with this one. The t-shirts are soft. All those t-shirts are like, I didn't chintz out and get the cheap ass, and I shouldn't insult them, Gildan products. I went with the softer ones. And so they're a little bit higher quality, and I'm glad I did it. Like the kit or the shirt feels good, but I just the logo here looks a little dim, if you can see that. And so I'll figure that one out.
Hey, you didn't say how slick I'm looking, right?
I can't even see you.
Oh.
the joys of the setup is I'm not on the video because I've got so many boxes. Let me go and inspect. No, I don't even know what the layout is. I don't even know where my feed is, to be completely frank. There's the control room. Oh, you've got the black kit on, and I didn't even notice it. It's insulting. You got all three.
Yes.
And you had the ranking, and you've sent it to me. What did the ranking look like to you? Red, gold, black. Put them in order.
I don't know. I mean, I would have figured that I was going to be all about the black, and I absolutely love the black, but I don't know, that they just did the gold well. So yeah, I think gold just edges the black, and both of them are far and above the red home kit. I'd probably go the home kit from last year more than I would this year's. If I was ranking, home from last year as well. But yeah, I'm not unhappy. I like it, the red home, more than I thought I would. It's definitely one of those where you want it in your hands. And I like it better when it's not sitting next to my last year's home, because I don't like this year's red. It's a little kind of shiny and almost pinkish at times. I don't like it as much as last year's, but yeah.
A2Z saying, did Rathbone get a minor injury? I didn't think that he did.
I'm not aware of one.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything on that, so we'll see where it's at. We've gone through the table, we've gone through the stats. I know it's going to be a boys' day today, as my beautiful wife taking the entire day off to go and pamper herself and hang out with the girls, and I can hear them starting to kick off in the background, which probably means it's my time to go and attend to things. So we're going to be here tomorrow. Brendan, do you want to start that one an hour early or 30 minutes early? Did you want to do your thing for a bit, or do you want to just run it like we have the last one?
Yeah, we'll start it early, maybe 45 minutes early or so, something like that.
So maybe Brendan, who sets it up early and joins by himself for a little bit, as I get some things under control in the background, and I'm a little bit. He'll have a 3-hour head start of me because of the time differences and waking up and getting things going. So join early if you want the pregame. Brendan will be there. and lead through the discussions of score predictions and things like that. We didn't promote the Discord server out there, did we?
Discord server's out there. We didn't throw it out there today, but
we
a bunch of members.
Didn't throw it out there today. Would like to be able to, and I'm going to go to it and grab the link. So we largely set it up because the goal of the whole process is to be able to chat and all that sort of stuff with you, but also at the very least to be able to pick pregame predictions and pregame picks as to where you guys are watching, what your setup is, what you guys think the score is, and then we can draw those in. So I'll put this up there and pin it just so that it sits as a comment.
I was also thinking that when you do the who are yous, I know you want to promote the video, but you could also throw the graphic up at least afterwards. So when we come back around to playing a lot of those teams, we can have a folder with all of the infographics for each team, yes, for the Discord users to be able to kind of click back and check.
Yeah, that makes total sense to me. And so, I with edits, because I obviously on the last one blew the population. If you haven't gone and seen those ones, I was quite happy with how they turned out, and very well received. Interestingly enough, when you look at the analytics, the Who Are You series for the Stockport one is my third most seen. I think it will probably eventually become my most seen because it's the highest that I've ever got post release. Part of that's because it was released well in advance of kickoff, but I think the biggest reason, 900 of those views are from a Bolton Facebook group, and so they came over in spades, and most of the comments have been positive, like surprisingly, they were surprised as to how it went. So I'm happy about that, and that was sort of the message that Ben sent afterwards. Was they expected it, they heard my accent right away and went and then turned out not to be that disappointed. So to me, that's a compliment, and I will take that on. But the Discord server is there to grab. The Spotify stuff is up. I'm sort of slow feeding and not really pushing the Spotify stuff at the moment because I want to fix up a couple of things. The mugs look amazing. The shot glasses look amazing. I'm waiting on my hats with the embroidery, and I know somebody ordered a bucket hat with the embroidery, and I'm hoping that those turn out as good as I'm expecting. T-shirts, I'm going to try and make a little bit of a touch up on this, and then once all that sort of stuff happens, they are cheaper right now. I'm going to have to bump the prices up probably in a week or two to get them to the point where I actually make something off of them, because right now they're pretty much break even. So if you're interested in getting something, feel free to do it now, but you'll run the risk that you could, like I did. I don't hate it, but I want to improve on that a little bit. So we'll work on things. Other than that, Brendan, I appreciate you doing this one on a neutral match. I think this was still fun. I haven't looked at how many people viewed this, and I don't know, but for me to selfishly get an opportunity to see the team that we're going to be playing next before we play them, I think will make the game far more interesting come next week.
Yeah, excited for tomorrow.
Where's the merch available? I'll just put that in there too. So it's the red. Let me put it this way because I can just copy and paste it. Have a look at that. And the other thing I should do maybe right before I leave is I want to take this one, the McLean shirt, and I want to turn it into two versions of yellow. I'll get a soft yellow and a hard yellow, and people can look to get it. But I'm very, very impressed with this. Everybody said when you set up the t-shirts, don't use this t-shirt. It's the best one to use. And so it costs a little bit more money, but it's worth the value. And so I'm quite taken by the shirts, and I will order some more of the other ones that I did to the design. And for anybody that's out there, if you have a player that you want me to do up, or you have a saying you want me to do up, or you want me to take the logo for the McLean and put it onto a mug, just let me know, and I'm going to do those eventually anyways. But I'm happy to move things around. If you're like, man, I would really love to have a tote bag that has Ogonkwo on it, then I'll set it up and make it so. All right, that's gonna do it for me, as I'm gonna do a takeover here of the boys and then we'll see you tomorrow, everybody, hopefully, for the Bolton match. And that one will be DAZN and CBS down in the US, and whoever your domestic carrier is, not with iFollow, unless in the UK it'll be on Sky. So find your domestic carrier. Livesoccertv.net, is that what it is? Let's put that one out there. I should know this because it's livesoccertv.com. Livesoccertv.com. Brendan, thank you so much. We'll wrap this one up and appreciate you guys there. See you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.